Come on. This won't fucking work. Oh, hi. Well, how are you doing today? Ignore that. Hello, welcome back to the bottom. My name is Beast. Today we're back with Sky Full of Stars. Yes, I found this old-ass toy pistol I bought at some point because my little sister was playing around with one and constantly like playing around with it. So I decided one day while out, I would buy one as well and just play around with her. You know, just like Wild West Duel and all that. I never fucking used it ever since I bought it. So I decided, hey, why the fuck not use it as a prop? Hand over your fucking money. Ah! I'm going to be disappointed if someone doesn't screenshot that me just holding it up to my fucking up to the fucking side of my head, just screaming and pulling the trigger. Like I'll be disappointed if nobody screenshots that and makes it an emote on Discord. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and tell people in general. Hold on. Part 5, start of Sky Full of Stars. Fine days. Orihime after start will have a potential emote at the start. There we go. Also, somebody posted an actual... Oh no. Bob. Why do you do this, Bob? We need to like crack down on Bob at one of these days. Oh well, anyways, let's get going. Like I said last time, we're going to go for Orihime because I'm really intrigued about her after story, since her actual after story did leave me somewhat wanting. So yeah. Crap! I'm late. This is starting off well. What the fuck is he gonna do? Run around with a goddamn toast in his mouth? Also, why am I waving around this gun so much? I should put this down. There's another potential distraction I will have during all of my fucking videos. Honest to God, if it comes to the emote, it probably is better. It would be better if I had like the small one because, but I have this one. My little sister had like a really small one. So yeah. It was a day in January, past the joy of New Year's. I, Octus Rami, was in a deep panic. Can't believe I missed the bus! Old man Champ had visited the store for the first time this year. Totally forgot about the time while having a man-to-man chat with him. Thus, I was pedaling with all my might towards downtown Hoshironaka. Oh no, is he late to a date? Fucked up Orihime after. Like I said, this is gonna be a problem. I have something to play around with during a recording, so that's not good. Anyways, Is it for someone while gasping for air? It was a weekday, but Arbor Town was relatively packed today. Maybe the leftovers of New Year's sales. You'd normally not find anyone like this. But she was someone I could immediately pick out of a crowd. Orihime! The girl, with a gaze set on a pocketbook, faced this way. Even her light jog was as refined as ever. I'm sorry I'm late. Putting away her book, she gave a clear smile. Her feelings transmitted without words. Is it goddamn... This is gonna be their anniversary, isn't it? It was a normal January weekday with no holiday to speak of, but it was special to Orihime and I. Why do these headphones always annoy me so much after I took a shower? That was our first date, come to think of it. To Orihime, she was simply escorting around the class with an acquaintance to the planetarium. I was on top of the world about my first date with the beautiful upperclassman I was interested in, though. That difference in perception was nostalgic, remembering it now. I need to stop playing around with this damn thing. This damn thing. It was probably how the night sky of Fushinonaka would look in 5 hours. The old projector is still in use today. It wasn't dulled in the slightest, and just as impactful as it was 1 year ago. So this should technically be after Project Starlight. Since Project Starlight does seem to be an idea they got either way. So it should technically happen in every route 1 year later. And since Project Starlight was at Christmas, technically, this should be after Project Starlight. They should have succeeded with Project Starlight at this point, which is interesting. Looking at Orihime next to me, she was slightly mouthing along with the narration, her eyes fixed straight ahead at the projected stars without noticing me. I grabbed her hand wordlessly, as to not get in her way. Hachi. With program over, we returned to the afternoon world. She lightly lifted our connected hands. It didn't bother you? It And let's make things more interesting. More exciting, I mean. Our date had only just begun. There was still plenty of time to communicate as lovers. Okay. Studying? Seems that It seems that was what her following along with the narration was for. It had been about half a year since she joined an acting circle. She seemed busy with modeling as well, but she was particularly enthusiastic about acting. Then wouldn't the next program be a better reference? It was Planetarium's regular Mikoto Tsukiura program. I think her narration is really good though. Is it awkward with it being your mother? Surprisingly, it seems she wasn't partnering with her. She was walking a similar path, but finding things on her own way. The gap in my beard is slightly showing again. Hold on. There we go. I don't know why that is. I don't know. She brazenly changed the subject. There isn't anything particularly different with me.
いえ、あって当然だわ。
She got pushy when it came to the Stars Club, as always. It was almost a year since she stepped down as president, but there was no helping her curiosity. I think it should be okay to say Project Starlight succeeded, exactly. The efforts of everyone there, that was quite a surge through Project Starlight's alignment with the Geminids meteor shower. That wouldn't last long. There was still some zeal left over, but that would quiet in time, and would probably return to the usual Six Stars Club.
反響はもちろんあったわよね。
You didn't hear from Yoshioka?
当然聞いたし、ブログも毎日欠かさずチェックしています。でも私は最新の情報が知りたいの。
When Yoshioka was naturally fed up, Corona became her medium, since she frequently heard of the current situation through various angles. Oh yeah, we got a new member. Did you hear about that?
新人？いいえ、初耳ですわ。
She's from Seisen.
吉岡と会った時にはそんなの一言も言ってませんでしたのに。それでどんな子なの？
Well, I was only introduced by Sai and exchanged greetings. There may be an official announcement at the next meeting.
前会長としては、ぜひとも直接面談して星への熱い思いを聞いておかないといけませんわね。
You really don't need to do that. What about your promise to Yoshioka?
そうだったわね。なんとか偶然を装って、そうだわ。謎の占い師として道端でひょっこりと。
No. You can't do that.
やっぱりアキト君がこっそり出会いを演出してくれたりはしない？
Please, give me a break here. What will you do if she ends up quitting?
そうよね。せっかく仲間が増えるのですもの。OG がしゃしゃり出て邪魔をしてはダメよね。わかりましたわ。ここは祝いの品を送るのみにしておきます。
Like what you did for when Yamada joined in the spring. Orihime always sent things with like assortments of high-class snacks anytime anything happened, since she was banned from excessive meddling. And how was your response, Orihime? She appeared on a TV interview, so it should have been a bit of a hot topic. It would have been strange for her modeling work to increase. It wouldn't have been strange for her modeling work to increase from it or something.
私の方は特に何も。端に移っていただけでは何の効果もありませんわ。
The world isn't that easy, I guess. We had high hopes for reactions at the Six Stars Club, but things were about to end with ultimately just one new member. Wow, so that's what you've been reading lately. She showed me the book she was reading when we met up.
アキト君は読んだことありませんの？
I think I've read something by the same author. They were famous. There wasn't anyone related to astronomy who didn't know them. Looked pretty old, and the pages were visibly discolored.
亡くなってかなり経つ作家さんの作品ですけれど、星座や神話の表現がとても美しいの。
Can I borrow it when you're done?
もちろん構いませんわ。きっとアキト君も気に入ると思います。
We decided she would lend it to me the next time we met. Orihime had gotten pretty busy lately, and we couldn't meet often like before.
私だって毎日でもアキト君に会いたいのですけれど。
When we couldn't, we talked over the phone or exchanged messages. That was fun in its own right, but it really did feel lonely when we couldn't touch each other directly.
今日は記念日デートですから、きちんと時間をとっていますので、目いっぱいアキト君を堪能させてくださいね。
The shortened time we could meet only made our precious rendezvous that much more meaningful. Far from fading, our love was only growing deeper.
ところで、アキト君、今日は初デートからちょうど1周年ですけれど、もっと大事な記念日が間近に迫っていますわよね。
Do you mean February 17th? I couldn't forget that day even if I tried. It was the day we held the planetarium event. I could remember the parting kiss vividly even today.
違いますわ、アキト君。初めてのキスという意味においては確かにその日が正しいと思いますけれど、告白してお付き合いするようになったのはその次の日からですから。
In other words, the start of our relationship was February 18th.
アキト君のご都合がよろしければ その日も今日と同じようにデートをしませんか？
Forget my schedule. I wouldn't have anything more important to do than that.
本当に？
Are you different?
いいえ、違わないわ。私も万能を排してデートをしたいと思うもの。
like Akira just grabs her by the shoulders, just stares into her eyes. I would fucking make time, even if I was meant to have open heart surgery on that day. Like, that's not good. I'm the same, so I'll plan for it now. And so, our next anniversary date was easily decided. Still, it's been all a year since we started going out.
あっという間でしたわね。
Really was. The time we could meet since she left the Six Stars Club had decreased, but our relationship was progressing smoothly, and we hadn't had a single fight.
ねえ、アキト君、何か不満のようなものはないかしら？
Satisfied? Of course not.
不満というのは大げさだったかもしれないわね。私とアキト君の関係で気になる点や変えたい点などは。
Whee! I know I did that. When you put it like that, I don't think there are
も
none.
ちろん私にもあります。こうなるといいなみたいなものが。
After stating them clearly, she stared at me quietly without saying what they were. You mean you want to express those things for our
お
anniversary?
付き合いを始めて1年の節目ですもの。お互いに提案してみるのも悪くないと思って。
Might end up having a fight, you know?
喧嘩なら望むところだわ。むしろ全くしていない方がおかしいもの。
Orihime's just over there. Oh, I want to throw down.
喧嘩し合えるくらいの方がより深い関係と言えるでしょうから。
Was the relationship without fighting supposed to be good or bad? If we spoke our minds more, we'd have fought without a doubt.
私たちはそろそろ次のステージに進んでもいいと思うの。
I just... Okay, I'll get the ring. Wait, what?
どうかしら、アキト君。
I agree. Let's make it homework for our next date. Aside from some special topics, our dates never fundamentally changed. But Darien was essential, after all. After that, our routine included things like chatting or shopping around. Look over there, there's a churro stand.
懐かしいわね。1年前の今日もここで初めて食べたかしら。
Let's vote for our anniversary then. Go buy some, so wait here.
そういうことなら一緒に並びましょう。
There isn't one to begin with, you know. It was an odd time during the weekday when all stalls would have time on their hands.
残念ですわ。
Okay, I'll be right back. Die. I should probably take a screenshot of this and somehow edit out the red so it looks like an actual barrel, something like that. Okay, I'll be right back. I'd buy an actual gun if I was, you know, in America. But I'm in Germany, so that's a bit hard. I left her to go buy some churros. I didn't have to wait, but the smell of coffee from the neighboring stand grabbed my attention. Maybe something to drink would be nice. I bought 2 lattes that came from the espresso machine, then went back to Orihime. Some dudes are... Oh.
私に何かご用でしょうか?
I was about to head back. As I was about to head back, Orihime was faced in front of a camera.
すみません。テレビ局の者ですが、インタビューいいですか? 申し訳ありません。あいにく連れがおりますもので。
This was by no means the first time a camera had been pointed at her. She was clearly a different level of beauty to those around her, so simply standing was enough to garner
お時
attention.
間は取らせませんから、1分ほどで済みます。そうおっしゃいましても、私困りますわ。お引き取り願えませんでしょうか?
She gently yet politely to the last refused, but it was her job, so it wasn't enough for her to back
ハーバ
down.
ータウンで来月イベントが開催されるんです。それについてちょっとご意見いただきたいんですけれど。イベントですか? それはどのようなイベントなのでしょうか。
こちらのプラネタリウムと天文機器メーカーが協力して製品紹介イベントをやることが決まったんですが、
お待ちください。
Orihime quickly halted the rambling reporter.
何か？
私、そのようなイベント初耳ですわ。森田先生にご挨拶できていれば教えていただけたはずですのに。
森田先生？
ご存知ありませんか？プラネタリウムの館長を務めていらっしゃる森田一郎先生です。
Their positions suddenly reversed. Still, that was the first I'd heard of a partnership with an astronomy manufacturer as well.
製品紹介イベントとはどのような？具体的にご説明いただけませんか？
She naturally took the mic, caught up in the flow, and started interviewing the interviewer.
はい。昨年末にこの星の中市で起こった活動がありまして。
プロジェクトスターライトのことですわね。
そうです。その活動を見たメーカーさんがぜひ星の中市でイベントを開催したいと。
なるほど。素晴らしいご提案ですわね。
我々地元テレビ局としてはいち早く地域の皆様にお伝えしたいと思いまして。
良い情報をいただきました。プロジェクトスターライトで生まれた流れを決して絶やしてはなりません。星の中に灯った小さな星の光が日本全国、いいえ、全世界へと広がっていくために、星空を見上げる喜びを皆さんと共有するために、私もそのイベントを全力で応援させていただきます。
It turned into an interview to Orihime's one-man show. It turned from an interview to Orihime's one-man show. The announcer, who was overwhelmed by the entire time, finally composed herself.
こちらからも質問よろしいですか？
なんなりと？
失礼ですが、あなたは一体どのような関係の方で？
よくぞ聞いてくださいました。この度、プロジェクトスターライトの発起人となったのが、何を隠そう、我々六つら星の会なのです。そして、この私が、六つら星の会の前会長、白鳥織姫ですわ。
It was a short interview that lasted no more than 5 minutes, but its progression was so oblique, even the surrounding peanut gallery was dumbfounded. What the fuck is oblique?
テレビの方からお名刺頂戴してしまいましたわ。
What the fuck is oblique? Neither parallel nor at right angle to a specific or implied line, slanting, not expressed or done in a direct way. It's basically fucking weird. She proudly showed off the card she'd gotten.
まさかあのメーカーが星の中市でイベントを開催してくれるなんて。これはチャンスよ。六つら星の会にとっては絶好のチャンスですわ。
Maybe you went a little too far, though.
そうかしら。
You're an alumna, so you're definitely going to be scolded by Yoshioka. I warned her while handing her the churro and coffee. For the active members, an alumna that should have been retired flashily pulled out their name on TV. For the active members, an alumna that should have been retired flashily pulling out their name on TV would frankly be unthinkable.
改めて思い返してみると、とんでもないことをしてしまったようね。またやらかしてしまいましたわ。
Orihime didn't mean anything bad by it at all. She just heard about the event and got wound up.
秋田くんの意地悪ね。見ていたのなら止めてくれればよかったのに。
She cutely criticized me with a pout. If it were Yoshioka, she may have done so. But I'm your boyfriend. I think that's out of you is what makes it charming.
秋田くん。
I was a little happy that I was able to see you like that after so long. I wasn't flattering or anything. She looked honestly dazzling the way she spoke with passion. That was what made the moon goddess who put together the 6 Stars Club so charming. The sea breeze around dusk grew colder and stabbed at our skin. Urged to either head inside a store or change locations, we went with the latter. I'm sorry I missed the bus, so I came by bike.
いいのよ、別に。せっかくですから、 二人乗りに挑戦してみる？
It's uphill all the way to Mikazuki Station. Maybe downhill, but going uphill that distance would be rough.
なら、レンタサイクルという手もありますわね。
Following her gaze, there was a rental bike
ア
shop.
シスト付きのもあるようですし、上り坂でもへっちゃらですわ。
She was completely taken with the idea of going together by bike. It's dangerous riding at night, so please make do with the bus. If you want to ride one, no matter what, let's rent a bike another
ア
day.
キト君、何も分かってませんわ。私、ただ自転車に乗りたくてダダをこねているわけではない
She
のよ。
wants to spend more time with him.
アシスト付き自転車というものにはとても心惹かれますが、せっかくのデートなのに別々に移動するなんて、私そんなの嫌です。今日はずっとアキト君と一緒がいいの。ダメかしら？
I'm sorry if boyfriend doesn't understand a thing. I couldn't help but bring her close. The way she desired me was too much to keep myself away from.
1年も経つのに。でもアキト君は大事なところではちゃんと分かってくれますから、そこがあなたの魅力。
She gently returned my embrace. Doesn't really feel like I'm being complimented.
さっきのお返しです。私も自分のああいう性格気にしてますのに。
She was apt to dash forward at full speed while forcefully swallowing those around her. What? What? Since her story is very much one of myth, it's because of her mother's stories. Like, did she just go full Chronos? She grew so much more adult this past year, but her fundamental nature hadn't changed a bit. I'm sorry, but I don't want it to change.
分かっていますわ。自分の気持ちを押し殺すなんてつまらないだけですもの。こんなところでアキト君と抱き合うなんて恥ずかしいですけれど、今の私の気持ちはこうしたくてたまらないんです。
Me too. We felt the stares of those around us, yet continued to hold each other. This moment was our world.
ごめんなさい。アキト君の自転車置きっぱなしにさせてしまって。
We sat with our hands together inside the bus. I would rather be with you too.
はい。
My hand was squeezed. Feeling her warmth was enough to bring me happiness.
もう着いてしまいましたのね。
It felt like an instant, but by the time we arrived at the station, the curtain of night had fallen. Do you want anything at the convenience store?
いえ、このままアキト君のお部屋に。
Oh, they fucking. Orihime guided me by the hand. Orihime guiding me by the hand, we headed to the room.
すぐに温かい飲み物をご用意いたしますわね。
She threw the kotatsu's switch and made drinks, thoroughly familiar with her boyfriend's home. Orihime, who'd I'd once treated as guest, was now more familiar with my room than me. Just take your coat off
こ
first.
たつが暖かくなるまでは脱げませんわ。
Indeed, with no one having been in it, the room was almost as cold as outside. The electric kettle eventually came to a boil. Before long, Orihime came back with our matching mugs.
ぬくぬくですわ。
That's fucking adorable, man. She quickly turned to mush after taking her coat off and putting her legs under the kotatsu.
煎茶の湯気を顎に当てる。なんという幸せ。
You've gotten quite used to enjoying the kotatsu.
全部アキト君が教えてくれたのよ。
I suppose that's true. I felt a little apologetic when I thought about how I corrupted such a perfectly flawless gentlewoman.
どうかしました？
She didn't seem concerned about the combination of green tea and a mug either. Come to think of it, the number of Orihime's personal belongings in my room had increased. Our matching mugs for one. But not just tableware. Toothbrushes, face wash, even underwear and towels. Things Orihime used had started being left here. So he just permanently has his girlfriend's underwear in his room, and luckily Never just kind of leaves it lying around for, you know, Miharu to maybe stumble upon. When you look at everything here, we're just like a couple who lives together.
どうせ？
top of the kotatsu rattled. I continued while holding the mug to keep it from spilling. I just mean that's how it looks. There's a convenience store below too, so it definitely feels like the right environment.
そこまでアキト君の生活圏を侵食するつもりはなかったのですが、ご迷惑でしたら撤収しますけれど。
No, like just no, corrodes you more. I'm not saying it's a problem. I just get teased for it when I call people over. For instance, one time I invited Taki over and I got totally made fun of. If his own romance weren't going well, I don't think it would have ended at that.
でしたら目につかないところに隠すとか。
I would be inconvenient for you, so don't worry about it. Feeling like we live together makes me kind of happy too.
そうよね。少々くすぐったいけれど、こういうのいいかも。
I have higher hopes for the after-credit scene of this. Having her personal things at her boyfriend's room would obviously make Orihime happy as well. They only increased for the sake of convenience, but they served to shorten the distance between us.
それにないと困るものもありますから、やはり置かせていただいた方が助かりますわ。
It would be dull to drink tea out of a bottle or a paper cup after all.
それもそうですけれど、下着の替えは絶対に必要になりますもの。
I felt the sensation of being prodded under the kotatsu. Her toes were touching me. A change of underwear.
すみません。ですけれど、
She prodded me over and
わ
over.
かりませんか？
There's no way I wouldn't. But because the frequency we couldn't meet went down, we always made love at the end of our dates.
お母様にはお泊まりしてくると伝えてありますから。
From the moment we came to my room, she expected this kind of development and even anticipated it. She teasingly invited me with her prodding while coquettishly calling my name. It wouldn't stimulate me directly, but her movements knew well how I'd react. Orihime, right now is a little...
ダメですの？
If we did it here, we'd be noticed. We actually did it once at the end of last year. The next day, we got plenty of snide remarks from Miharu.
声出ないように我慢しますから。
Will you really? She nodded her head up and down with full force. We should really be playing it. We should really play it safe and go to a
そんな
hotel.
意地悪言わないでください。アキト君にしてもらえると思ってずっと待っていたんですから。
Let's go. Just scene cut inside Miharu's room. Just the door opens only like a small bit. Just only his head peeks in. Hey, you got headphones? Yeah, why? Put them in. What? Put them in with loud music. Why? You do not want to hear the moaning. Oh no. Oh yes. She came out of the kotatsu and walked over.
ホテルに行くならせめて下着だけでも変えさせてください。はしたない話ですが、もう汚してしまいましたの。確かめてみますか？
I actually quite like the design on that skirt. However, she spread her feet shoulder width apart in front of me. A gap opened in her adult-like tight skirt as she waited for me. Like, that is how I interpret this line, just... Put man aside without saying anything. A sweet voice leaked out of Orihime's lips as I lightly touched her underwear. The sensation of seeping love juices came at the same time. I could feel the warm moisture through the cloth.
分かっていただけました？
I understood well how dirty you are.
いつもじゃないです。久しぶりだから期待してしまって。
Are you just like... Damn, girl, you got a waterfall under there? Jesus fucking Christ, calm down!
もうこんなこと私に言わせないでください。
Her thighs closed shut out of embarrassment. My hand was bound today. Got a feel for her thighs directly. I am not in any possession to say anything myself. Even though even I thought about how I would get to hold you and was looking forward to it the entire time. We knew feeling each other wasn't everything, but we were fully aware of the value there was in expressing our loves through our bodies.
とか私嬉しいです。
Come here, let me embrace you.
はい、すぐおそばに参りますわ。
Thank God I was fast enough. Her tits are out. Time to skip the sex scene. Okay, I think they're done now. It doesn't seem like we were now. Just, he fucked her in the ass. Yeah. So, I'll just go ahead and, I will keep doing that for a very long time. Thing is, why I found this. Why did I drink this one? This is the right one! But yeah, like, basically the reason I found this because there was like a table right outside this door over there. And we decided to move it and actually use it again. So we were someone was like my mother was cleaning it out. I found this thing again in one of the drawers. So yeah. Engravings give you no tactical advantage whatsoever. Shut the fuck up, Revolver Ocelot, even though Nick Snake said it. The Ocelot first. So, you know what? I should just shut the fuck up, really. You're pretty good. Even though we aren't, you know. Oh, that reminds me, I think I'll have my last day's of seminar on Monday. So, that'll be the day where I open up the Patreon, and I will also actually get the vote going on which game to play after Footed Up, because yes, I want to play IX Tell. Since it is new, it would also give me some subscribers at least. But I will not play it if people don't want to see it. What I will do, however, is add up, like multiply the score on the votes for IX Tell by 1.5. I won't do times 2, since I realized how unfair that was in the other vote, but it wasn't quite as unfair because multiple ones had times 2. So in that one, I'm just going to like multiply it by 1.5. Since if it is like not wanted at all, I won't play it. But if it is at least even somewhat wanted, I will. Since I do actually feel very curious about the game, and I want to do the blue hair one. Then she seems cute. Anyways, she doesn't see. I already read that. We took a short break from sex. We hadn't had dinner, so we decided to have a light midnight snack.
どうでしたか?
The coast looks clear. It was silent. William ended up letting out some loud moans, but luckily we made it out without being discovered. That aside, I made this. Brought a supper that I made in the South Thomas kitchen. The menu was udon in an aluminium container.
おうどんですの?
It was frozen, but it's pretty good. I put it on the table, then offered her some while her eyes sparkled. I almost said while her arse sparkled. That would have been very weird. It's hot, so be careful.
もちろん承知しています。では失礼してお先にいただきますわね。
She boldly placed the steamy udon in her mouth. That's why I warned you. I handed her some cold water. She cried in agony.
生き返りましたわ。まさに甘露。
It's just tap water.
水道水を飲むなんて生まれて初めてかもしれません。
She spouted that absurdity with no hesitation. I had guzzled water straight from the faucet when I was a kid.
水道水ってこんなに美味しいものでしたのね。
Well, I think normally mineral water would taste better.
ではこの水道水が特別なのね。アキトくんのお部屋で飲むこの水道水が。
Tap water started sounding weird with how much she was repeating it, but I could understand what she was saying. I feel the same. Udon eating with you is crazy good. I slipped some up.
熱くないの？
Nope, it's not.
そう。では私も。
She gonna burn her mouth again. Looks like it was hot. She did the same thing as before. There's a trick to eating hot udon. Look, you let the heat out like this.
奥が深いわね。
Was it really?
やってみせてくれたのは嬉しいけれど、正直よくわかりませんわ。なので、アキトくんが食べさせてください。
Cheeky little shit. She leaned forward, still in the kotatsu. This too was reserved for lovers. I brought some udon to her lips, still feeling a little nice. Maybe it's a bit different from eating it by herself. Eating it myself. Well, I just did something awful to her.
舌をやけどしてしまいましたわ。
It even seemed difficult for her to drink her after meal tea. Do you want to switch with something cold?
いいえ、平気よ。心配してくれてありがとう。
She gave a bright smile. It was probably in consideration of me to prevent my worrying, but her pure smile made me happy.
それに少しヒリヒリするだけですもの。この後のことも問題ありませんわ。
Later? What's later?
また私に恥ずかしいことを言わせるつもりなの？フェラチオンのことです。ちゃんとアキトくんのおちんちん舐められますから。
I see. Oh, that's what you meant. You know how when you burn your tongue, it feels extremely it's like there's pelt on it? That's gotta feel weird when you decide to lick skin.
そろそろ続き始めませんか？夜は長いと言っても限度がありますもの。おちんちんのことなら任せてください。アキトくんが目いっぱい楽しめるよう何度でも私が固くして差し上げますから。では失礼いたします。
In the end, I went along with her pace and we had sex like mad. Wasn't anything surprising though. It was the usual song and dance. Doing it until even Felicia wouldn't get me up was exhausting, but it made me so happy that it didn't matter. Jesus Christ, you did it until there was nothing left to spend. How long did it take though? Are you Yamato levels yet? If you are not, die. I don't know why I did that. The next day, all was at peace. I was totally absorbed into tranquility, thinking about this and that for our next anniversary date in the middle of work.
ねえ、アキト。
She called out to me from the side with her elbows sloppily on the counter.
この店に店員は一人でいいと思わない？
So you're saying I could finish earlier?
違うでしょう、そこは。年下のアキトが気を利かせて、ここは俺に任せろっていうとこでしょ。
You know there's a delivery soon.
来たら呼んでくれていいから。ねえ、私を逃がしてくれない？
Can't do that, the manager would get mad at me if I did. Half the reason I was here outside my shift was to supervise Sensei. It seems the pressure for her to get her act together was increasing lately.
豚まん1個食べていいから。見て見ぬふりするから。
I returned to my own work while dealing with her shameless stubbornness offhandedly. Then my phone in my pocket vibrated. Excuse me a bit. When I looked at the screen, it was a notification from our group chat.
姫ちゃん、テレビ出てる！
I completely forgot. I didn't think it aired today.
どうしたの？
Well, Orihime's on TV, apparently.
マジ？もしかして、ちょっとエッチなお仕事ってやつ？
Of course not! Where did you even get those ideas from? Reactions to Korona's message rolled in one after the other in the meantime.
何それ？どこの曲？
確かに白鳥先輩が出てるね。相変わらずな感じで面白い。
今お母さんがテレビ見てて確認できない。どのチャンネルでやってますの？確かお名刺をいただいたはずですので。
わお！姫ちゃんマイク奪い取った！
コロナうるさい。あと暴れないで。気になる。ねえ、どうなってるの？白鳥先輩またとんでもないこと。
Yoshioka's just... like fucking Yoshioka's over there having a fucking panic attack. Like, not again!
白鳥さんかっこいい！惚れる！いや、惚れた！
いい感じに映ってますわね。むつら星の会の未来も安泰ですわ。
通達。明日16時、むつら星の会の臨時集会開催の。
This is the message to Shiratori. Oh, you fucked up.
OG の白鳥先輩は強制参加です。うおー！呼び出し来たー！
待って、吉岡。もしかして、お説教？
当然です。姫ちゃん頑張れ
I missed my time to participate amidst the raging billow of messages. Orihime's interview wasn't even 5 minutes, and the actual broadcast seemed less than one. Its impact must have been enormous to cause this much buzz in such a short time.
すごい顔してるけど、何かあったの？
Well, I guess this and that. I have to have a strategy meeting with Orihime later on how Yoshioka would come at her.
やはり吉岡は怒ってる？
Soon after returning to my room, I exchanged messages with Orihime. Well, yeah, she's definitely angry.
吉岡怖い。
Even after graduating, Yoshioka treated her the same way. She came together as the president of the Six Stars Club, but when it came to Orihime, she seemed to return to her raw self. Even the internet is getting interesting. Those local programs and the people who saw it were few, but posts about Orihime were going nuts.
謎の美人出現中。
Ooh! Looks neat. That's straight up Twitter, though.
星の中にこんな美人いるはずない。絶対テレビ局の仕込み。
仕込みのスタッフにしては暴走しすぎの件。
女子アナちゃんポカーンとしてるし。
星の中に萌えキャラ誕生。
I sent Orihime the address.
すごい言われようですわ。
They're all saying you're beautiful, though.
でも、萌えキャラって。
But a waifu? Ah, if only she realized. I think it was a compliment, but apparently not to Orihime.
ひどいですわ。私、頑張りましたのに。
She did go pretty far, so it would make sense that they'd joke about her a bit.
白鳥織姫天文マニア面白すぎ。
姫ちゃん最高！
月の女神降臨とは卑怯な。でも許す。
Some familiar faces came to mind from some of those posts.
これ、コロナさん？
Maybe Korona and Yamada. I'm sorry for the trouble those two idiots are causing. What in the world were they doing? Based on the group chat, it seemed like they were together.
白鳥織姫ちゃんかわいい！姫ちゃんは実物も超かわいいよ。
むつら星の会降臨。
They were quickly outed as related to the Six Stars. I was worried about how one could think they were just replying to themselves. But what with the way things are going... Orihime Shiratori is my bride! I sort of secretly made my own post. I didn't think I'd get found out, but...
今の書き込み、アキトくん？
How'd you figure it out? I inadvertently stood up and shouted. You've seen through me.
弾をかけただけですわ。
That's awful. Orihime was strangely sharp at times, or rather she went straight to the core.
白鳥織姫は俺の嫁。白鳥織姫は俺の嫁。白鳥織姫は俺の嫁。
Give me a break here. Having my precious copy pasta-like message sent to me repeatedly would obviously make me give in.
すごく嬉しかった。ドキドキしました。ありがとう、アキトくん。
I received subsequent messages from her in repetition. I could honestly feel her joy, even through short texts. Satisfaction with that alone led to a phone call. Hello, Orihime? What was there to say at a time like this? Her voice flew into my ears as I hesitated. Her wife talk was fervently alluring. Her words held intense destructive force that took me out in a single blow. He's just fucking dead on the floor. Heart attack. Like, Akito? Hello? Are you okay? It's like, she just hears the door opening. Oh, what the fuck? What's wrong with you, Akito? Oh no, I killed him.
Akito-kun? Akito-kun? どうしましょう? 返事がありませんわ.
No, sorry, your wife talk did me in.
ごめんなさい。でもどうしても直接伝えておきたくて、ご迷惑だったかしら。
The opposite, I'm kind of on top of the moon. We had been lovers for close to a year now and had expressed our love countless times. But still, hearing Orihime say the bride of Akito alone moved me beyond happiness. Orihime? Orihime Shiratori is the bride of Akito Sorami.
Hi, Akito-kun.
Her reply sounded delighted. I could tell her expression from that alone. She was surely smiling just like me. Need to leave this fucking gun alone. Maker Academy Astronomy Club Room. The accused stood facing her peers in a court of law with a tense expression. That was what it was supposed to be anyway.
どうしてですの、さやさん。かわいい新入部員に会えると私信じていましたのに。とってもワクワクしていましたのに。すみません、白鳥さん。
The only one in attendance from Seisen was Saya. The newcomer Orihime wanted to meet was unfortunately not here.
無理言うなって姫さん。基本的に各校の代表者が集まるのがこの会合なんだから。
ならどうして引退したはずのジンの先輩まで。
私はほら、姫さんの弁護人ってことで。
そう言って、単に面白そうだから来たというだけでは。
Oh, damn right I am.
まあいいじゃないですか。引退した我々が集まる機会なんてそうはないですし。
The three who'd already retired from the club had gathered on the day as well, on today of all days. Third years shouldn't have had time for that, but they just finished a large exam, so they were here for a breather, it seems.
なんだか面白いことになってきちゃったね、ひなみん。神々の階段の末席に名を連ねる光栄。プリンセスに5校が指して見えます。
5校っつうか、ただの証明だろうが。
The fierce-looking Gawanakajima was now Taji's successor as president of Moromisawa. Speaking of which, why are you here too, Yamada? You didn't look like you were coming at all when we left the club room.
部長はほら、アルテミスの伴侶だから。秋には姫ちゃん担当で忙しいかなって、星野第一の代表にはひなみんに来てもらったんだよ。今日だけ星野第一天文部代表山田ひなみです。どうぞよろしく。
Honest to God, I just want Akito to just go, they grew up so fast! Just fucking crying. You blink once and they're already adults!
ああ、ご丁寧にどうも。
She got carried away and had out some sort of business card to each of the school's representatives. She already knew everyone here, so she didn't need to... Wait, back up, why did she even have business cards?
ということで、我ら4人、姫さんの弁護団を結成した。
As she declared so loudly, they put their arms around each other's shoulders. Wait, I'm one of those four? I was cleanly swallowed into their circle.
アキト君は私の弁護を引き受けてくれないの?
That outfit, yes. No, that's not what I...
嫌そうにしてても、結局アキトは面倒見いいのよね。昔からそうだったよね。
Alright, you two. I had to protest, but unfortunately I didn't have a leg to stand on. That was how it was when we revived the club for starters.
何やら白鳥先輩を糾弾する集まりだと思われているようですが。
違うの？
いえ、 違いません。
It appears all of you have believed that we have gathered here to denounce her. But we haven't. Oh no, we totally have.
吉岡
Fucking. If I was an e-girl, I could probably sell that for millions. But I'm not. So I guess riches are out of my fucking grasp. Why did I say that? Why did I say that? I hate myself, if you haven't noticed. Ah.
みんなが見ていますよ。頼もしい OG としてしっかりとした姿を見せないと。
そうよね。むつら星の会にその人ありと歌われた白鳥織姫の名を汚すわけには参りませんわ。
She straightened her back and slowly looked over
む
everyone.
つら星の会前会長の白鳥織姫です。皆様、本日はご足労いただき感謝いたします。むつら星の名のもとに星を愛する仲間がこれだけ集ったこと、心から感動しています。むつら星の会の存在をあまねく世界へ。その夢がまた一歩近づいたのね。
She was getting one-sidedly worked up and emotional. The members not used to this side of her looked slightly concerned.
ちゃん最高。かっこいい。
コロナさん、この人を煽らないでください。
いや、そうはいかないって。私らは姫さんのこういう先導を受けて、むつら星の会を再結集したんだしさ。
ですよね。白鳥さんのこういうところを否定したら、私たちの存在まで否定することになっちゃいます。確かに、おっしゃる通りですね。
She looked on the verge of acceptance, but only for an
です
instant.
が、昨夜のあれはさすがにやりすぎでしょう。
Korona worked the Node laptop at Yoshioka's signal. On the screen was Orihime's interview.
よくぞ聞いてくださいました。この度プロジェクトスターライトの発起人となったのが何を隠そう我々むつら星の会なのです。そしてこの私がむつら星の会の前会長白鳥織姫ですわ。
Her grand appeal, having stolen the mic from the reporter, was still quite
こ
overwhelming.
ちらは某動画サイトにアップされていたものです。
ローカル局の情報番組がソースだったからコメントがあるほど話題になってないけどね。
Like, oh god, he's just, god dang it. God, I was still slightly sheepish about it. The view on it should have calmed down after so much time had passed, but it's still talked about at times, even now.
引退した OG が勝手にむつら星の会の名を出して吉岡は怒っているのかしら。
怒るというよりも、呆れました。あなたはちっとも変わっていないのだな、と。
じゃあ
ですが、現会長としては、笑い話で済ませるわけにはいきません。場合によっては、森田館長にお叱りを頂戴しても。
それだけは頼むから勘弁して。
She was strong against underclassmen, but she was no match for an older alumnus. Since last year's planetarium affair, she was particularly aware of how bad she was with Morita.
なあ、吉岡さん。私が言うのもなんだけど、過ぎてしまったことはしょうがないと思うんだ。姫さんを吊るし上げるのもいいけど、それじゃ不毛なだけだろ？
今後どうするかを話し合う方が建設的かもしれませんね。
勝手にやっちゃったのは問題ですけど、むつら星の会にとってはまたとないチャンスじゃない？
そうよね。ナイスフォローよ、ひかりさん。
白鳥先輩のこの動画が僕たちを知ってもらうきっかけになりそうなのも事実だね。
To proliferate the existence of the Six Stars Club throughout the world. She wanted everyone to know of the Six Stars Club. But that was nothing but the starting line. Orihime wished for everyone to know of the stars, everything brilliant surrounding them. That was what the Six Stars Club was for. And even after retiring, she left the club and continued striving to grow the circle of people who loved astronomy. Like Juno said, I don't think beating a dead horse will do us any good. More importantly, right now, it would be better to flip what happened to our advantage. No one exceeded her charisma. That was Hikari Hikoboshi as Comet Girl, but she didn't try to become like Orihime. I think it's time to go on the offensive with Project Starlight's excitement down the way it is. You may be forgetting from the impact of the video, but the important part was the event in Harbor Town.
そっか、イベントあるんだ。メーカーの製品紹介イベントだっけ？
あそこって確かアキトくんが持ってる望遠鏡のメーカーだったよね。
あのメーカーはこういうイベントをよくやってるんだ。知名度も高いし、乗っかるのは悪くないと思うよ。
Even I was happy that a respectable company like that would be holding an event. It was also a little promising.
吉岡、私の軽率な行動で迷惑をかけたこと、むつら星の会に関わる皆に、その上で提案します。今度ハーバータウンで開かれる製品紹介イベント、むつら星の会は全力を挙げて応援しましょう。
We wouldn't cut off the momentum born from Project Starlight. We would connect it to this manufacturer's event with our own hands. We could think of Orihime's interview as the creator of that opportunity.
どうかしら、吉岡。やはり OG の出しゃばりだと思う？
そうですね。OG の出しゃばりなのは否定できません。ですが、やはり先輩が先頭に立って行うことは、どうしても楽しそうだと感じてしまう自分がいます。ダメですね、私も。あなたのすることが、どうしようもなく好きみたいです。
She smiled wryly. Having succeeded Orihime as president, she tried to act accordingly, but at her core, she was Orihime's biggest fan.
あなた、
今回だけですよ。いつもこんな風になし崩しに住むなんて思わないでくださいね。
わかっているわ。もう素直じゃないけど可愛い子ね。吉岡ったら。
She hugged Yoshioka out of pure happiness. She just played a form of skinship you normally wouldn't show off in public.
先輩、みんなが見てますから。
It's fucking adorable.
いい子いい子。もうこれだから嫌なんです。
Though she didn't try to throw her off. Orihime expressed her deep love, ruffling her hair.
いいなぁ、部長。はいはい、すねないの。あんたのことは私が可愛がってあげるから。
Hikari held her in an attempt to spoil her, but she didn't look all that happy.
おっぱいだけだからな。あーははははは、おっぱいもないあんたに言われたくないわね。いたたた、グリグリしないでってば。
Hikari ground her fist into Koroda's temples, but she was holding back quite a lot. This bit of messing around was an established heartwarming tradition. After that, we had a short break, then finally started on the main topic, how to play PR for the event held in Harbor Town.
また動画を作るのはどうかな。去年のコメットガール動画みたいなやつ。
それじゃ2番煎じに思われないかな。むつら星の会はまた同じことするのかって。
同じじゃなければいい。
具体的にどうすんだ？なんか考えあんのかよ。
去年のはコメットガールだから私メインだったけど、ここはやっぱしね
え。Hikari insinuatingly looked to Orihime.
私ですの？そりゃもう火種になった張本人ですし。でも私はすでにむつら星の会を引退した身で。
She awkwardly glanced at Yoshioka's expression, like she was playing it safe in case she got scolded again for getting ahead of herself.
白鳥先輩は名誉会員ですから。というか、引退云々言うなんて今更でしょ。ちゃんと私がそばで手綱を握っていますから、安心して好きなようにしてくださいね。
Yoshioka was grinning brightly, but that smile felt a little frightening. Orihime accepted her cute underclassman's words with an awkward expression.
姫さんがやるなら、私らもやるか。
そうですね。天文部を引退して寂しかったのは事実ですし。
なんだかワクワクしますね。やっぱりムツラボシの会はいいな。
The retired third years put their names forward as well. The juniors who succeeded them made difficult faces.
ありがとう、みんな。受験のある人はその妨げにならないように頼むわね。
ムツラボシの会のせいで落ちたと言われたら、我々も困っちゃいますからね。
Without any particular objections, it was decided we would make a video in support of the event. It was a road we'd walked before. Actually, making the video was no issue, and we had the know-how. The main point was what to make it about.
ムツラボシの会を盛り上げたいというのはありますが、それはあくまで結果だと思います。一番の目的は、ハーバータウンのイベントを周知させ、一人でも多くの人に来てもらうこと。それに貢献したのが、地元の天文グループである、我々ムツラボシの会であったというだけでいい。まずはそこからスタートしましょう。
With Orihime leading, she explained the general concept to everyone. Its aim was more broad as opposed to the Comet Girl video, but that felt more fitting to Orihime right now. After 1 year of maturation since making the planetarium event, a success, she should be able to tackle this with
イ
flexibility.
ベントの紹介をするのか、メーカーの宣伝をするのか。姫さんはどっちにするつもりなんだい？
そうね。どちらも必要だとは思うけれど、来客者が何を求めてくるのかを考えれば、おのずと答えは見つかるはずよ。
She returned her gaze to Yoshioka silently, as if it would reach her, the one who inherited her will, without words.
今回開催されるのは、メーカーの製品紹介イベントです。つまり、天文機器の魅力をアピールすれば、興味を示した人がイベントに来てくれるでしょう。
各校の機材をかき集めて、そいつを紹介するってのも良さそうだね。
アキト君の望遠鏡も活躍できそう。
メーカーの方からすれば、自社製品のみ紹介してほしいと望んでいるでしょう。ですが、きっと我々と同じジレンマを抱えているはず。
ムツラボシの会を周知させるのか、それとも星の素晴らしさを広めていくのかですね。
Orihime assented to her words.
星を愛好する人が増えれば、それだけ裾野も広がっていきます。自らの小さい殻に閉じこもっていては未来はないわ。たとえそれが先方の意に沿わぬことだとしても、メーカーを限定することなく機材の魅力を伝えましょう。それが天文を広めていくことにつながるのだから。
She didn't say so, but this was surely also part of achieving her own dream. What world would the machinery show you upon using them? Simply imagining it made one antsy.
なんだかもうワクワクさせられちゃうな。姫ちゃんのこういうとこ、やっぱすごいよね。
無茶なことが無茶に思えなくなってくるから、つい一緒にやってみようって気になっちゃうんだよね。
Everyone seemed to be on the same page as me. The way everyone looked at her had already changed the president who once pulled us all along the past.
もう、私が出しゃばるのも今回だけってことを忘れないで。今の会長は吉岡なのですから。それに、吉岡も来年度には引退します。次の会長にも、ムツラボシ魂が受け継がれていくことを期待しているわ。はい。
After discussing it with everyone, it was decided we would shoot the video this weekend. Till then, all there was to do was gather equipment and staff. Takichi was slurping noodles in the clubroom when we entered.
部長、いつもの扱いでいいですか？
Yep, I'll leave it to you.
アキト君、いつもの扱いって？
You'll see.
にゃーにゃーにゃーにゃー
待て待て待て、シールがこぼれる、やめろ。
Takeichi was threatened by Yamada, just like always, while protecting his partly eaten noodles in a panic.
そうです部長。こんな感じで OK ですか？
Bravo, you've gotten pretty good at it too. I could safely leave handling Takeichi like a stray cat to her.
なーに、まだまだうちの母にはかないません。
マジでこれよりすげえのかよ。山田母は。
Takeichi was in low spirits after being taken out by Yamada. He knew he'd be treated like this, but still hung around here. Maybe he actually liked it.
一体何ですの？今のは。うちの母が野良猫にするような扱いです。
I've taught her to handle it like that when Takeichi used the club room like he owns it.
ひでえよな、アキトは。幼馴染の俺に山田ちゃんをけしかけるなんて。
Sinking her on him! Jesus!
知るな
The soup of his cup noodle spilled gloriously at the surprise attack.
星野第一は随分と愉快な天文部なのね。
As expected, Orihime seemed a little put off. I thought it was mostly the same at Maiko, but I suppose it was hard to notice things about oneself.
ところで、アキトたちはいいとして、どうして白鳥さんもいるんだ？
むつら星の会で動画を撮ることが決まりましたの。それに使う機材の確認ですわ。
へえ。
He looked at me suggestively.
お邪魔だったかしら？
いいや。むしろ部外者はこっちだからな。山田ちゃんもおっかないし、俺は撤収しますよ。
Finishing off the last of his soup, he threw the container and chopsticks into the trash
じゃ
can.
あな、アキト。手伝いが必要なら後で言ってくれ。
Will do. If we need you, we'll make sure and go through Jino.
余計なことしなくていいっつーの。
He scurried out of the club room.
皆さんも物好きと言いますか。
He's got his good points, though. I wanted to back him up as his childhood friend, but it seemed like it'd be hard to explain. Why is my phone
そ
blinking?
れでは機材の確認を始めま
Oh,
しょうか。
Twitter. Well then, let us begin. That is not Akita's
ラ
line.
ジャです。
Taking off our coats and regaining composure, we started our work. Though it wasn't like our astronomy club had much equipment to begin with. My refracting telescope was about all we might be able to use for the presentation. Was it okay not helping Yoshioka and the others? I asked her while taking out the telescope from its
いい
case.
のよ。私がいると吉岡は甘えてしまうもの。コロナも白鳥先輩には甘えまくり。
That image comes to mind easily. Orihime was in some way a reliable presence. Yoshioka and Corona would end up handing over the initiative to her if you let them.
吉岡が頼りないと言っているわけではないのよ。会長として部長としてあの子はとても成長したわ。私はその妨げになりたくないの。吉岡がコロナさんにどう伝えていくのか今から楽しみでしょうがないんだから。
The way she spoke so elatedly showed the expectations she had for the
と
two.
ころでアキトくんの方はどうなのかしら？
Me?
部長。
Yamada's small animal-like eyes looked straight at me. I've got to pass the baton to my juniors properly too, huh?
部長なら大丈夫です。もう7割くらい渡してもらってますし。
Since when?
アキトくん、自覚はなかったの？
It just never really hit me that I'd retire, I guess. But even I'd graduate someday. I wonder if I'd be able to pass the baton right, like Orihime did.
まだ気が早いです。引退のことを考える前に新入生を取ることを考えないと。
That's true too. Well, we'll take it one step at a
は
time.
い。
I wasn't too sure on how to do it, but when the time came, I'm sure things would turn out fine. I had Orihime and Yoshioka as a good example, so I wanted to meet my retirement, having conveyed something to Yamada myself.
こうして見守るのもなかなか良いものですわね。
Please don't play with our underclassmen too much.
1年前のお返しですわ。お二人のことたっぷり楽しませていただきますから。
She informed us as if she would tease us, but she would probably just affectionately observe as an alumna of the Six Stars Club. Yamada and I both knew that, so we didn't say anything back. Yamada bowed her head to me right as we left the club room. What wonderful experience. She was as hard to understand as ever, but it seemed like there was something to be gained from today's work.
私もいろいろと興味深い体験をさせていただきましたわ。
Even you, Orihime, what exactly are you guys talking about?
星の第一天文部のこと、あまりよく知らなかったもの。物質にある備品や観測記録を見せてもらって、改めて知ることができたわ。あなたもそういうことよね。
さすが白鳥先輩。敬願恐れ入ります。
Yamada bowed approvingly.
気づいていないかもしれないけれど、アキト君も前の部長から何かを受け取っていたはずよ。
I suppose I did. I was engrossed in nothing but myself back then. I didn't think that much. But thinking about it now, I got several things from him. Not just living in the club room. Important things that held me down.
では部長、白鳥先輩、お先に失礼します。
待って、夜は危ないから途中まで一緒に。
いえ、お邪魔虫は帰ります。イチャイチャの時間を割いていただいてありがとうでした。
Flirting time.
違うんですか？
違うはないけれど、機材確認だって同じくらい大事なことよ。
Just as important.
ということで、おやすみなさい。
She left. Orihime didn't try to stop it this time. You wanted to flirt?
当然よ。いつでもイチャイチャしたいものでしょ。だからね。
Right as our hands connected, our fingers intertwined.
アキト君が温めて。
Her hand was stuck into my coat pocket along with my own. Wouldn't we look like perverts if someone saw
気
this?
にしすぎよ。それに疑われたらちゃんと説明しますわ。大好きな彼とイチャイチャしてるだけですって。
Orihime didn't hide the fact that she was going out with me from anyone. Even when it would be more convenient to keep it a secret, she stated the truth. And I have to flirt right, so you don't become a liar.
バスが来るまでの間、よろしくお願いします。
Regrettably, we couldn't be together any more than this today. So I want to feel her right until the last moment.
次はちゃんと時間を取りますから、その時は目いっぱい愛してください。
We touched lips, our irritation at being unable to feel each other deeply worsening. During the several minutes before the bus came, we communicated our feelings, acknowledging one another over and over. Oh, Valentine's. Again. Saturday, the day we planned to film the PR video. The members who could make it took their places along with the equipment they brought in a corner of the film location, Harbor Town.
撮影スタッフは神野さんとひなみさん、それと川中島くんでよかったかしら？
ああ、選びに選び抜いた優秀なメンバーだよ。
歴史の記録者として尽力します。
さあさあ、力仕事は俺に任せてほしいっす。
Jino knew a lot about equipment, and Yamada was a huge help during the Comet Girl filming. The editing was done by a friend of hers last time, but I heard she studied it and could do it herself now.
ねえ、ちょっと、これってどういうつもり？
寒いよ、アキト君。
I was wondering why they're just in their uniforms without coats. So it wasn't an accident. The members appearing in the video were told to remove their coats by Orihime.
申し訳ありません。むつら星の会は星の中の天文部グループですから、制服でないとアピール力に欠けると思いますので。こんなことなら私も撮影の方にもあるんだった。
寒い寒い寒い、姫ちゃん温めて。
はいはい、こちらいらっしゃいな。
安心のぬくぬくだよ。
Korona clung to Orihime for warmth. Hey now, tons of people are watching.
秋とってばやきもち
Yes. Nope, we're appropriately lovey-dovey, so be at ease.
確かに全然動じてない感じ。
I couldn't be Orihime's boyfriend if I let this upset me.
さて、あまり待たせても辛いでしょうから、撮影を始めてしまいましょう。
With Orihime taking the lead, filming finally began. I wasn't exactly part of the filming crew, but I went around generally helping out, giving instructions like Yoshioka. Really, it does feel like the vice president.
皆さん、こんにちは。
I like how the
むつら星の会
sign for
前
recording
会長の
changed.
白鳥織姫です。私たちむつら星の会は、星の中市にある六甲の天文部の集まりです。皆さんは知っていますか？来たる2月14日、バレンタインデーに、ここハーバータウンでイベントが開催されるんです。プラネタリウムと天文機器メーカーがタイアップして行う製品紹介イベントとなります。むつら星の会は天文に関わる地元のイベントを前にして指をくわえて見ていられません。なのでイベントを盛り上げたくて勝手に応援動画を作成することにしました。非公認の勝手な活動です。でも応援したい気持ちだけは誰にも負けません。観測に用いる天体望遠鏡や双眼鏡、その他各種機材についてどんなものがあるのか、使ったらどう見えるのか、動画ではそれを皆さんに簡単にご紹介したいと思います。
はじめまして、むつら星の会会長の吉岡と申します。白鳥前会長と共にいろいろご説明したいと
I
思
was
いま
gonna
す。
really want Yoshioka to just get like for a second, just like really embarrassed and just like shows, and then like after the filming, she just walks up to Yamada, like, please cut that out. No, leave it in, leave it in, leave it in. It'll attract people.
吉岡、少々硬いですわよ。もっとリラックスして。
先輩、カメラ回ってるんですよね。
いいからいいから。あなたは可愛いんだからもっとにっこりしないとダメよ。
そう言われましても。編集、後で編集してもらえるんですよね。
No, leave it in. Yamada gave a thumbs up from behind the camera at the visibly perturbed Yoshioka. How it would be edited was all riding on Yamada. I felt like the only one who figured this would be used was me, though.
ほら、まずは最初にどうするのかしら。
はい。トップバッターの私からは天体望遠鏡をご紹介します。
天体望遠鏡といってもいろいろあるのよね。
望遠鏡の構造によっていくつかに分類されますが、代表的なものはやはり屈折望遠鏡と反射望遠鏡ですね。
The camera panned to the telescopes we prepared in
こちらの
advance.
細くて長いものが屈折望遠鏡です。それに比べて短く太いこちらが反射望遠鏡ですね。
屈折望遠鏡にはガリレオ式やケプラー式、反射式望遠鏡にはニュートン式などがあります。
むつら星の会のブログに紹介文をアップしますので、詳しく知りたい方はそちらをご覧ください。
After that was a simple, generalized explanation of telescopes with a prepared flip chart. Yamada filmed up at each of the parts while moving the actual telescope, capturing its charm. Yoshioka was more nervous than anticipated, so I wondered how things would turn out at first, but Orihime's lead seemed to keep things
以
together.
上が天体望遠鏡の説明となります。
天体望遠鏡はその名の通り天体、つまり星を見るための道具です。夜になったらどんな風に星が見えるかは写真をアップしますので、そちらを参考にしてください。ですがそれはあくまでカメラが映した映像です。人間の目で見たものとは印象が大きく異なります。自らの目で直接見る星空が特別に素晴らしいことを私たちは知っています。皆さんにも写真ではなく自分の目で星を見てほしい。来たる製品紹介イベントでは実際に望遠鏡を使って星を見せてもらえるそうです。さあ みんなもイベントに来て、この夜空の星を一緒に見よう。
Roll credits. She stuck her finger towards the sky. It was a finishing pose,
この夜
but
空といっても、今はまだ昼ですけれど。
よしようか
Orihime's cry at her expressionless jab echoed throughout.
はいカット。メンバー交代して続けて撮るよ。
Juno cut the filming with perfect timing.
こんな感じでよかったんでしょうか。
I think it was good. Yamada will edit it too.
なんだか、一生分の恥ずかしさを経験した気が
Oh,
し
you're
ま
in
す
for even more. She had totally burned herself out with her role complete. But Orihime as the main navigator, wasn't over yet.
よっしゃー、いよいよ私たちの番ね。行くわよ、さや。
双眼鏡これでいいんだっけ？
Hikari and Saya flurried into filming. After astronomical telescopes was the binoculars presentation. A proper telescope had the downsides of taking time to set up and being difficult to handle. In that sense, binoculars were a convenient and handy gadget for looking at less astronomical bodies. I'd not just say celestial.
ほうき星光と
聖戦女子天文部2年の天の川さやと言います。よろしくお願いします。さて、お次はむつら星の会随一の美少女2人に双眼鏡について説明してもらっちゃいます。
美少女2人って白鳥さんを入れたら3人でしょう。
私は美少女というか美女ですから。
確かに美女だ。
白鳥さんは引退して OG になってから一層大人っぽくなりましたよね。引退したらあなたたち2人も美女カテゴリーに入れてあげるわね。
やったー、よろしくお願いしますね。
ねえ光、そろそろ双眼鏡の紹介をしないと。
そうだった。皆さんも知ってると思いますが、これが双眼鏡です。
ふらっと星が見たくなった時にはとても便利な機材ですね。でも双眼鏡ってちょっと扱いが難しくありません？
そんなお悩みのあなたにはこれ、じゃじゃーん、三脚でーす。
ビノホルダーっていうのを使うと双眼鏡を三脚に固定できるんですよ。でもわざわざ三脚を使うくらいなら普通に望遠鏡でもいい気が。
そんなわがままなお嬢さんにはこれがおすすめ。双眼鏡にもカメラみたいに手ブレ補正のある製品があるんです。
それは非常に気になりますわね。ちょっとお値段が高くなっちゃいますが、それでも手ブレ補正の効果は抜群。
効果のほどはぜひ実物で体験してくださいね。
今回のイベントを開催してくださるメーカーさんでは残念ながら手ブレ補正付きの双眼鏡を生産していません。
だから違うメーカーのお店で触ってみよう。確かハーバータウンのお店にも置いてあったはずだし。
こらこら光さん、他社さんのアピールなんてしないの。
だってないものは紹介できないし。
こちらの会社でも手ブレ補正付き双眼鏡を作ってほしいですよね。そしたら私も買っちゃいます。
そうそう、競合メーカーが増えたらもっとお安く。そうなることを期待してみんなも応援しよう。以上、光とさやの双眼鏡紹介でした。
Their demonstration went out exactly like some late-night infomercial. I thought Saya would feel antsy like Yoshioka, but she was able to speak pretty smoothly, going on the offensive as things progressed.
僕、もうダメ。
Pet her. Good work, here, it's cold, so put your coat on.
ありがとう。
She took her coat and tossed it away. Honestly, I just imagine Agita just standing there with like all the coats that are currently not being used. Like they finished their role. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
どうよ、アキト。私のトークは。
Relieved like always. Thanks for supporting Saya
ど
too.
ういたしまして。っていうか、白鳥さんノリノリじゃない。あの人も器用よね。
Yeah, that's how it felt from watching the main thing, but her acting abilities were fostered from practice. She had natural talent, of course, but this was the result of her work with acting this past year.
はい。それじゃあどんどん次行くよ。
コロナ、出番。
お次はむつら星の会の超新星、草壁コロナだよ。
コロナさんはなんと私の後輩なんです。妹系女子として皆さんよろしくお願いしますね。みんなよろしく。コロナさんには望遠鏡でも双眼鏡でもない第3のガジェット、フィールドスコープについて紹介してもらっちゃいます。
フィールドスコープっていうのは本来野鳥なんかを観察するための道具です。ちょっぴり双眼鏡と被るよね。
でもこちらは単眼鏡になっています。フィールドスコープはいわば陸の望遠鏡なんです。
双眼鏡は手持ちで使うのが普通だけど、フィールドスコープは三脚で固定して使うんだよ。
星はしっかり安定していないと見づらいですからね。
鳥も星も見られるなんて一挙両得。他に何かメリットあったっけ、姫ちゃん。
そうですわね。双眼鏡と同じく成立像となるというのがありますが、
ピンとこないな。
ごめんなさい。我々もあまり詳しくない分野もあるんです。そんな時は専門家に聞いちゃえば安心ですね。
そっか。イベントに来てるメーカーの人に直接質問すればいいんだ。
きっと我々学生とは比較にならないプロの星猛者たちが皆さんを歓迎してくれることでしょう。メーカーの方、イベント会場にはぜひぜひエキスパートの派遣をお願いしますわ。
コロナも質問に行くから覚悟しててね。
以上、フィールドスコープの紹介でした。
あんまり紹介できてなかったけどごめんね。
はい、カット。一旦休憩に入ります。
But filming proceeded at a nice tempo without any particular trouble. However, that was a major obstacle from here on.
やはり緊張しますわね。
She hadn't shown it at all until now, but she was immensely nervous. Are you okay? If you like, we can ask Gino to extend the break.
いえ、大丈夫ですわ。ただ、アキト君の手で震える私の手を包んでほしい。
I responded to her plea and gently took her hands. They're so cold.
そう？今まではちっとも気にならなかったのよ。
Should I go get a disposable hand warmer?
いいえ、アキト君の手が一番あったかですから、私が落ち着くまで少しの間こうしていてください。
I enveloped her hands silently. Were the hands of my dignified girlfriend always so small? We should have known each other extensively through our numerous embraces, but I was reminded of something new. Don't worry, you have me. If I could just be her support. With that in my heart, I swathed her hands in a
あ
prayer.
なたがいてくれて、私は最高に幸せですわ。
There's nothing yet. I'm ready to make you even happier from here on. Orihime said nothing to my resolved words. No matter what words she spun, the moment they escaped her lips, they would feel trite. Her feelings reached all the way to me. Okay, everybody, calm down. You're making everyone jealous. Nobody called out to us while I warmed her hands. It was no more than a few minutes, but it was long and precious to us.
行きましょう、アキト君。
Orihime stood up again. In order to challenge today's most powerful enemy.
森田先生、この度はご協力いただき、どうもありがとうございます。
The one who showed her head, the one she bowed her head to was the planetarium's director, Mr. Ichiro Morita. He was someone we couldn't do without in the video, and although we've asked him for his assistance, assuming he'd refuse, he gave the okay rather easily.
可愛い後輩の頼みです。OB としては快く引き受けなければね。
He spoke peacefully, but we couldn't be deceived by that. If he did anything irresponsible, he'd immediately and harshly point the finger.
目が笑ってません。まるでメフィストフェレスの
Okay, calm down, Hinami.
丸かじりにされても死んないよ。
Even the usually bright Corona felt Mr. Morita's aura and was displaying extreme caution. Suddenly a stand erupted from behind him and punched her.
こちらが現在のメンバーですか。
私の自慢の後輩たちです。
She stood in front of Mr. Morita triumphantly. He only took a strict attitude as a Six Stars Club alumnus, but she touted them with no shame.
あまり緊張しないでください。私の話を聞くだけなのでしょう。
はい、よろしくお願いいたします。
君は
現在むつら星の会で会長を務めております、明光学院2年の吉岡ほのかと申します。
It wasn't their first meeting, but maybe the first time she'd formally introduced herself to him. Her voice shook strangely, possibly the effects of having heard this and that from Orihime beforehand.
森田先生、ほのかは私にとって名工の後輩になります。どうぞ吉名に。
Orihime called Yoshioka by her first name. The significance of that was not lost on neither Mr. Morita nor the other
な
members.
るほど。白鳥氏のお嬢さんがここまで成長しましたか。あなたたちの世代を導くのは早乙女さんだと思っていましたが、どうやら違っていたようですね。
早乙女さんって誰？先生のことよ。
He could exasperatingly explain to Korona. Perhaps Mr. Morita had placed certain expectations on Miharu as an X6 Stars member. I wonder why things turned out like this. I tried inviting her out today, but she refused, saying she had no clothes to wear.
館長さん
That's bullshit.
ご無沙汰してます。
She has a quite attractive outfit.
ああ、ナルエ君もいましたか。
He called her Narue? I thought calling her by her first name was almost the exclusive privilege to the Kusukabe siblings.
どうかしたかい？
なんでもないですわ。
At any rate, it was true that Mr. Morita had taken a liking to Jinno. We left it to her to get his story out. Same here. When we left the planetarium, it was already night. Mr. Morita's story went on for a rather long time. Yamada would have her work cut out for her editing all that into one
皆
video.
さんお疲れ様でした。これでハーバータウンでの撮影は終了となります。
The rest depended on the editing, whether any additional cuts needed to be added. Do you think you got it, Yamada?
大丈夫。これだけ面白い映像があれば、編集もきっと簡単だと思います。
Let me know if you need anything. I'm the president, so I'll help however I can.
では、我らがアルビレオのプリンセスのスペシャルストーリー撮影を
Personal requests denied. If you do that, you should just ask Sai directly.
頼んだら OK してくれると思います？
Not a chance.
やはりプリンセスは逃亡の身ゆえ、露出を避けているのですね。
Her reasoning was a bit of the mark, but let's leave it at that for Sai's sake as well. I proceeded with cleanup while chatting with Yamada. Everyone dispersed, carrying their school's respective
アキ
equipment.
ト君、この後時間いいかしら。
When Orihime called to me, everyone left us alone, I guess to be considerate.
なんだか申し訳ない気分がしますわね。
You should be happy though. I wanted to talk with you alone
で
too.
は、ミナに甘えて少し座りましょうか。
We sat at a bench after buying something warm to drink.
落ち着くわね。
Worked hard today. It was fun seeing you like that for the first time in so long.
私だけでなく、他のみんなも頑張ってくれましたわ。
Gratitude wasn't enough for the members who took their precious Saturday to attend
あ
today.
とは、ひなみさんの編集次第ですけれど。
Her eyes seemed to ask if things would be okay. I'll manage her properly as the club president. Korona will help too, I
ア
think.
キト君がそう言うなら、安心ね。
Her expression loosened, as if her stress had finally fallen away. She finally smiled.
私、ずっとニコニコしていたはずですけれど。
I don't mean that fake one, your real smile. She let out a barely noticeable sigh, convinced.
私、やはりまだまだですわね。
She took out a book I recognized after criticizing
読
herself.
み終わりましたので、お約束通りお貸ししようと思い、持ってきました。
She softly passed it to me. You certainly did make that promise, but I couldn't understand the reasoning behind this
昨
timing.
年のプラネタリウムイベント、無事成功しましたが、私は納得していませんでした。ちゃんと勉強していたら、もっとうまくできていたはず。私なりに努力しましたが、やはり未熟な点もありましたわ。アキト君に背中を押されて自分の道を選んでから、私はいろいろ学んできました。いい文章を読むことも、
Oops,
その
fuck.
うちの一つです。
Her finger traced the cover of the book I
い
held.
くら研鑽を積んでも、私の前には大いなる先達の存在があります。 本の作者さんも演劇サークルの先輩も、そして私のお母様も。
Mikoto Tsukiura. She said they never talked about acting, but that was also out of fear. If she did, her immaturities would be revealed to herself. She created distance out of fear for that.
私は弱い自分が嫌です。こんな自分変えたいと思っています。吉岡たちが信じてくれるような白鳥織姫でありたいのに。
There was a gap between ideal and reality. Surely only Orihime herself knew just how wide it was.
アキトくん、今日の私はうまくできていましたか？みんな私を褒めてくれます。でも、私は自分を信じることができないんです。
That heart there is just kind of cut off. Same for that one. Orihime couldn't open up about this to anyone else. Not to Yoshioka, not even her biological parents, whom she respected and loved. And yet she spoke to me. I'd be a failure of a boyfriend if I didn't understand what that meant. I, at the very least, think you're incredible. I hugged her. I won't say I want you to believe in the me who believes in you, raw rough-eyed power, but I want you to feel that, at the very least, one person believes in Orihime.
私には、アキトくんがいる。
You're only just getting started. The only way to go is up. You should save the grievances for when you're number one. Am I wrong?
そう。私は上ばかり見すぎていたのね。
Right when you look up was the first magnitude star called Mikoto Tsukiura. Even the surrounding stars surely gleamed brighter than Orihime. That's why she decided not to look up. But she knew those stars were there, so she could not. It's painful because you think you're mature, but you're on the path to growth. So be proud of yourself.
それもそうね。
She slowly looked up. Her face was a troubled yet certain smile.
吉岡もコロナさんも可愛い後輩たちは皆この1年間で立派に成長してくれました。今日もそれを間近で見せてもらったというのに。
It was almost a year since she'd retired from the Six Stars Club. In that time, the members had undeniably grown in their own ways. That had gotten through to even
ご
Orihime.
めんなさい。情けないところを見せてしまって。
It's alright with me. I'm happy that you relied on
あ
me.
りがとう、アキト君。やっぱりあなたでないと私はダメみたい。
She gently returned my embrace. I finally felt the load lift off me at the feeling of her body
好
heat.
きよ。大好き。この宇宙で誰よりも愛おしく思っています。
Love you too, Orihime. I'll never say these words to anyone but you. I felt embarrassed for my own statement. I pulled her close, trying to hide my
こ
redness.
れではアキト君の顔が見えませんわ。
Then we'll do this. I stole her lips. If we kissed, she'd be too close to see.
これなら悪くありませんわ。
Orihime responded in kind, and our kiss deepened. The night of Harbor Town shrouded our overlapping figures in darkness.
今日は帰らないと伝えてありますね。
She whispered alluringly after separating her wet lips.
アキト君。
Why you do this to me? We swayed in the bus seat, her body leaned against mine. We headed towards our destination, fingers warmly entwined together. May not be able to hold back today, Orihime.
そんなの私も望むところですわ。
This is right in my ear.
と言いますか、アキト君はいつも手加減などしてくれないじゃない。
If I did, I feel like I'd lose it.
じゃあ今日は二人とも全力で。
Let's make love until morning. We headed towards the love hotel we'd used numerous times. We could have sex as much as we wanted there without worrying about our voices. Alright, in anticipation, like every time I click, I'm just like, fuck! Turn up the tone feed! Like every time I click, I just quickly move my fucking mouse over in an attempt to stop myself from having to censor anything. We rarely entered the Love Hotel. We'd used this place on several occasions, after checking in like we always do when we entered the room. She's just saying her name, she dressed in front of me as if showing beforehand would be too irritating. She addressed me as well while in her underwear. Ah, yes. That's dick right between the tits.
よし、ちょっと。
There, yes, there, right there. The dick is right there. See you after the sex scene. Okay, the sex scene is over. And for some reason was skipping through it. I don't know why, but I started thinking of that stand-up comedy bit from, I think, Robin Williams. I think it was called, like, on taking Viagra after open heart surgery. Like, that's what it was about. Hold on. YouTube. Taking Viagra after open heart surgery. Weapons of self-destruction is what it was called. There you go.
And it's weird too, because I had open.
I'm gonna go ahead. Send that in the memes chat real quick, if you don't mind. Before I forget. Anyways, editing the video processed quickly. Yamada must have had fun with it, as the tentative edit was already presented just after the holidays. No need emerged for additional filming, and with astronomy photos taken from each school and some reference materials and equipment, it would be complete. And so, the day of release came. It wasn't a usual meeting day, but several of the members involved in its production gathered in the Meiko club room as to see it come to fruition.
それでは動画をアップしましょう。コルナさん、お願いします。
では、アップロード
Korona, in charge of the PC, uploaded it to a video site. The blog was subsequently updated as well.
これでひとまず完了しましたね。
プラネタリウムにも予定通りメールを出しておきます。向こうのホームページにもリンクを貼ってもらえば、拡散効果はぐっと増すと思う。
うまくいくと良いのだけれど。
The occasion made even Orihime watch over slightly nervously. The only ones unchanged were Yamada and
反
Korona.
応があるまで少し時間がかかると思う。じゃあさ、みんなでもう一度動画を見ようよ。
Yoshioka's face was blatantly
どうし
distressed.
たの、吉岡。活動の成果をみんなで確認し、思いを共有するのも大切なことよ。
わかっていますが、あれをまた見るのは。
Yamada's edit was even less merciful than I expected. Everyone's funny scenes were left mostly untouched and it wrapped up into a sort of live comedy style video.
吉岡さんはいいさ。こっちは後で館長さんになんて言えば。
でも、あれを半端に残すのは無理でしたし、個人的には別枠で編集しちゃいたいくらいです。
森田先生についてはそのように対応した方が良さそうね。
Director Morita's Planetarium story was almost entirely cut, based on Yamada's judgment. Everyone here agreed it was correct. No one blamed her for it.
私がとちった場所もカットして欲しかったです。
あれは可愛かったので、もちろんオール採用。
グッジョブですわ、ひなみさん。
ひなみナイスイエーイ
The three of them high-fived the formation of the Yoshioka fan club. Yoshioka went lifeless while watching them.
それにしてもほんと美少女揃いよね。むつら星の会って。
Hikari mumbled while replaying the video on her phone. We're lucky there were lots of people who shone on screen. Our choices were all cute girls.
映ってるのが女の子だけってのもなかなかずるいよね。唯一出てるのがあの館長さんだけか。ねえ、ひなみちゃん、あれ全部カットできなかったの？
Hiraki unhesitatingly spat out something sharp.
カットしたらダメって言われました。
さすがに全部カットは許可できないわよ。あのプラネタリウムとのタイアップ企画なんだから。
そこで心臓に悪い会話しないでよ。
It seems the pressure on Gino was great.
しかし、これって完全にネタ動画だよな。
真面目なだけじゃ再生数は伸びない。
いや、そうなんだけどさ、応援動画って言ってこれだろ。メーカーの人が怒るんじゃないか？
Have you seen some promotional materials these days? Some people use comedy almost too much.
そうよね。やっぱり、そうなりますよね。
Dirt has innocent words. Sucker punch Yoshioka. I guess her part really bothered her. Everyone said it was cute, but it seems it was something she couldn't accept personally. The next day, the manufacturer fucking...
なにこれ？超ウケるんだけど。
Like the next day, the manufacturer Tim contacts them. So we want to do another. Also, you also want to do a promotional video. Could you invite Orihime and Yoshioka? Mainly Yoshioka, because that quite frankly, that she was fucking adorable in the video. Anyways, she borrowed my phone during work and was watching the video everyone made. All worked on it. We all worked earnestly on that. So please don't laugh too much.
いやまあ一部は真面目だけど、これ編集したやつは絶対不真面目でしょ。
I can't really deny that. She was either earnest or just having fun with it. This was the result of us going above and beyond.
森田さん、思いっきり中略とか出てるし。
Because he went on for about an hour.
ああ、わかるわかる。ほんとスイッチ入ると止まんない人なのよね。まあ。それだけ情熱家だってことなんだろうけど。
Even Miyaru knew how he looked when he got that way. She must have heard his impassioned preaches about the stars numerous times in the Six Stars Club. Does this make you think we were just messing around?
正面だけ見たらそう思われるでしょうね。でもちゃんと考えがあるんでしょ。ここに映ってるあんたの彼女を見てればわかるわよ。
You understand, too. I didn't think it would get through to her, so I was shocked.
何よ。私みたいなニートにはわかるはずないとでも言いたいの？
That's not what I mean. I was just happy that Orihime's emotions got through. Her wish was for even one more person to come to love the stars. The fact that it was conveyed in this video gave me a push amidst my anxiety. Says I'm gonna let Orihime know immediately. I took off my apron and handed it to her.
ちょっと伝えるってここでちょちょいとすればいいでしょ。
I can't do it on message! I want to exchange words directly, not through text. I want to hear her joy directly. So I fucking pedals to her place. Sorry, Kotaro, but could you be quiet for just a little bit? I called Orihime while petting him.
アキトくん、ちょうどよかったわ。実はとんでもない展開になってしまいましたの。
The next day we came to the Mako Astronomy Club to hear the details.
動画サイトの反応はさほど大きくはならなかったのよ。
She showed us the comments on the computer. I checked myself before coming, but the views hadn't really gone up much. You're right, it's nothing compared to the Comet Girl video.
公開したのは昨日ですから、これは仕方ないと思います。
I suppose for an explosive hit, it needs something else. Making the video interesting went without saying, but where and how it got picked up was huge. Huge.
ムツラボシの会のブログも頑張ってはいますが、規模としては小さいですからね。
プラネタリウムのホームページにもリンクを貼っていただきましたが、あちらも地方の一施設にしか過ぎませんし。
So it's just well known to the ones who know, huh? With Project Starlight, we put all our strength into boosting awareness, which led to its success. We knew from the start that this wouldn't reach anywhere near that.
そんな状況だというのに、ムツラボシの会のメールにこのようなものが届いたんです。
Everyone at Six Stars Club, we have seen your promotional video. Thank you for your abundant, enthusiastic support. If you'd like, will you join the event as well? If we received cooperation of local astronomy fans, it would surely liven things up a great deal. And signature at the end was a name I wasn't simply familiar with. It's official! Anything to manufacture will contact us directly.
フットワークの軽さはさすがですわね。
We got a favorable message from them, so that means they aren't mad at all.
それについてはほっとしました。一番の気がかりでしたので。
At any rate, if they want us to attend, we have no reason to decline. So can't we just give them the okay?
それがね、問題はもう一通のメールなのよ。
He showed me her own phone directly this time. Former Six Stars Club President Orihime-Route, you belong to our production company as a model, correct? If it suits your convenience, would you take the stage as a guide? We would very much love to have you and your love for the stars. Is this a job offer?
事務所の方には私の承諾を得てから改めて連絡を取っていただけるとのことですわ。
You were in a production company? Was the first I'd heard of it, so I was
フ
surprised.
リーで仕事をするのもなかなか難しいのよ。だから事務所に所属して活動するのが普通なの。
According to her, signing contracts through businesses brings more security. And whenever trouble came up, the backup they provided was barely much different than going without it.
それでね、どうしようか迷ってしまって、アキト君の意見も聞きたいと思ったの。
You're hesitating?
ええ、今の私にはやはりまだ荷が重いわ。
She suited so. She judged this by checking her own ability versus the requested role.
私は白鳥先輩なら問題なくできると信じています。
ありがとうでしょうか。
That faith must have been heavy. Orihime's expression was almost unnoticeably stilted. And what do you think, Orihime?
そうね。やってみたいと思っているわ。私の思いが届いたのだもの。それに天文の輪を広げたいというのは私の夢だわ。ずっとやりたかったことをさせてもらえる。こんな嬉しいことはないってとても喜んでいるの。
And there's no need for hesitation, is there?
そうですよ。去年のプラネタリウムイベントだって見事やってみせたじゃありませんか。今回の応援動画だって先輩がいなかったらあんなにちゃんとした形にはならなかったと思います。
Yoshioka pushed her on in a rare instance of excitement, the moon goddess who descended upon the planetarium. When I thought of seeing that sight again, I could understand her feelings.
でもあの場にはアキト君や吉岡がいてくれたわ。今回のイベントは違う。支えてくれる仲間はステージにいないのよ。
Was she on stage alone or with other performers? In either case, the current members of the club probably couldn't stand there with her. The issue was whether she could stay the same Orihime in that situation. That's simple. I'll stand on stage with you.
アキト君？そんなこと言っても、そう簡単には。
I have an idea. I can't say it's completely possible, but will you hear me?
まったく、アキト君もとんでもないことを思いつくわね。
We waited for the bus underneath the winter sky. White clouds lifted from her exasperated words.
でも、可能ならば心強いですわ。
Are they gonna put on the whole Artemis spiel again, but he's just gonna be rocking the... What's he called? I fucking forgot. How did I forget? That hunter. Nah, fucking cares. The uneasy look in her eyes was nowhere to be seen. It wasn't confidence, but relief. She was reinforced by a partner who would be there to support her. Just as the moon couldn't shine without the sun, she would borrow someone's power to stand on stage. There was nothing shameful in that. Right now, she was on the path towards growth, so she should hold her head high and be proud. We still don't know if they'll give us permission yet, though.
わかっているわ。でも、どうしてかしら。それについては全く心配していないの。
Hold on, I'ma fucking look this up. I also know that, what was it? Overly Sarcastic Productions did a video on him not too long ago. Not Overture, Overly for the Sarcastic Productions. Oh yeah, like one of the main stories of Ares that involve him getting kidnapped. That's still funny. Orion, there we go. I'm a retard if you haven't noticed yet. But yeah, I've been watching like a bunch of videos from like overly sarcastic productions again as of late. Because it's just relatively nice bite-sized videos I could just watch on break during the internship. So yeah, anyways. On what basis? Hold on.
だってアキトくんですもの。きっといつもみたいに最後には成し遂げてしまうんだわ。
That didn't really feel like an explanation. At any rate, it seems like I had her full
あな
trust.
たは気づいてないみたいだけど、ムツラ星のメンバーは似たような思いを抱いているはずよ。プレアデス1号に始まり、プラネタリウムイベント、去年の冬の合宿だって奇跡のように晴れ渡った。そして、プロジェクトスター。
It does feel like a lot of the projects do flourish with him there.
次々と成功を運んでくれたあなたのことは、幸運の象徴のように感じているわ。
Oh, that was because of everyone's hard work. Things didn't work out with luck alone. It was the result of the passion of so many people poured into a single goal. Every piece was
みん
indispensable.
なの存在があったのは否定しないわ。でもね、アキトくんと一緒ならきっとなんとかなるって、そう思うようになっているの。今の私がそうだから。
Being trusted so much only made me flustered. I thought I would stand on stage to support her, but anxiety was rearing its
ほ
head.
ら、わかるでしょ？私の気持ちが。
Whoops, that.
過度の期待をかけられるのって逆に不安になるものなのよ。
This was the pressure Orihime had felt for so long. She didn't show a hint of it, though. Can I be happy that you finally showed that side of yourself to me?
喜んで。そして、誇りに思ってほしいわ。白鳥織姫が弱みを晒すのは、唯一あなただけなのですから。
She opened up to me about her anxieties on the night of the filming. And now as well. We had come this far after a year of
だ
dating.
から、アキトくんも、ね、何でも一人で処理しようとしないで。無理して頑張らないで。あなたが私を支えてくれるように、私もあなたの支えになりたいの。それが、心から愛し合う二人というものではなくて。
Her palm came over mine softly. There was no strong grip, simply an overlapping touch. That closeness brought much happiness. I can be surprisingly spoiled, you know.
知っているわ。実はかなり前からそう思っていたもの。
You really thought of me like
二
that?
人きりの時は好きなだけ甘えてもいいのよ。
You too? Fawn over me when you want to be spoiled?
もちろんそうさせてもらいますわ。
Her switch flipped a little in a joking way. She playfully tickled me with her fingertips. I hate that tickles.
くすぐってますの。
So it is you're acting spoiled, is it? It was a bit more childish than normal. She normally held an older adult-like
ちょ
charm.
こちょこちょ
Fucking adorable, man. This is really on the level of acting
ー。ア
spoiled.
キトくんもくすぐる？
She displayed her body teasingly. If I did, it would be sexual harassment.
大丈夫よ。アキトくんなら嫌じゃないから。
Hold on. What the fuck is this? There's something in my shoe. I say something in my shoe, but not much of a shoe. I dropped that right on the cable. Thank God nothing happened. I'm a fucking retard. Fucking just... Then, I slowly stretched my hand towards her after confirming no one was around. It felt fluffy. You're too soft no matter where I touch.
女の子ってそういうものらしいですわ。
No, you're special.
比較する対象があるのかしら。
You're the only I know. I'd at least touched them before, but Orihime was the only one I felt the softness from.
私も知っているのはアキトくんだけよ。
Her face turned vermilion. She noticed how embarrassing our exchange
ア
was.
キトくん、今日はお時間いかがですか？
She tugged at my coat sleeve.
私、して欲しくなってしまいました。
Oh, they're fucking again. She tugged me repeatedly, as if urging me on. This felt more like acting spoiled, but she wasn't aware of it herself.
これから私の家に来ますか？アキトくんならお泊まりでも問題ありませんし。
Staying the night meant a one-way trip to Sax until morning. She may not have been bothered by it, but I really couldn't go that far with her family around. Sorry, I have to decline today. It was almost a year since our relationship began, but I still hadn't been to her home. She invited me numerous times, but I could never muster the courage when I thought about her strangely pushy mother. I'll definitely come to your house soon. This was yet another change. If our relationship was to deepen, we needed an appropriate
で
connection.
は、待っていますわね。今日はおとなしく我慢して一人でしますわ。
On your own. Her face, that should have already been red, grew an even darker shade of crimson.
これ以上は堪忍してください。もう恥ずかしすぎますわ。
She covered her face with her hands out of shame. Before going out with me, she had said she couldn't do something like that by herself. Before I knew it, she became a dirty girl who comforted herself. I was just making sure.
その顔ちょっとエッチですわ。
That's Akito right now. Can't help it. It's your fault for saying those things.
悪いのは抱いてくれないアキトくんですわ。本当なら毎日だってアキトくんとセックスしたいのに。
I'm the same, of course. I want to hold you every day.
なら抱いてくれればいいのに。
She clung to me, unable to bear it any longer. She buried her head in my chest and nuzzled into it.
こんなに好きなのに。
I love you too, so much I can't stand it. No matter how many times we lied together, we craved an even deeper relationship. At first, a mere smile one's way brought us joy, but then we'd want them to stare. Our desires knew no end.
キスならいいですか？
She begged with moist eyes. In place of words, I responded with my lips. It was a passionate kiss, intense enough that you could hear the sounds of our lips.
母校の目の前でキスするなんて。
Do you want to stop?
もう意地悪言わないでください。
This time, Orihime pushed herself on me. I actually really like just the shadow. At some point, satisfied with simply pushing our lips together, the kiss became deeper.
後輩が見たらどう思うかしら。
Well, we think that you should probably get to a hotel or something. They just slowly but surely look over to the right. Just the entire Six Stars Club's just watching. While Yoshioka's breathing strangely heavily. She didn't let up despite her concern. We just melt into one just like this. We should... what? Our kiss was painfully sweet enough to bring those thoughts to us. Our lips, our arms, our whole body. We held each other with all we had, wishing to broaden what we could feel as much as possible. What do you mean? The bus will be here
ダ
soon.
メ、もう少しだけ。
She whined while clutching me. Okay, only a little more. The bus left us alone. It hit us for a moment, revealing two lovers soon after. Only until the next one comes. We continually kissed while telling ourselves that. Our tender, indulgent night continued on for just a bit more. Orihime agreed to stand on stage. Then an offer came from the manufacturer to her production company, and her official work as a guide was approved. All that was left was to strengthen our resolve and wait for Valentine's Day, the day of the event. Preparation for me to stand with her had begun as well. A girl pounced on the costumed character. Well, it was a good thing that she was so energetic.
ねえねえお母さん、ハーバーくんと写真撮りたい。撮って撮って。
Harvard-kun was everyone's friend. Pictures were okay, of
それじゃ
course.
撮るよ。はいチーズ。
That was one photo with a huggy girl down.
ハーバーくん、写真ありがと
Why is he looking so mad? Why is the duck so angry? Why is the duck so angry? What the fuck? Oh, this is me running from the gay community after calling the blue-haired girl she instead of OfficeJet Pro 8720 printer series. What the fuck did Storm post in memes there? Anyways, Habakun waved back at the girl. He decided to let his prey leave for the day. He would plunge his knife into her chests a few years later down the line. For the resistance then would be far greater. Finishing pose. There were rules to working as Harbor Town's mascot, Habakun. Making large movements with my arms was enough to leave me out of breath. I couldn't speak, but responded by waving to her. Even though if I got carried away and made excessive movements, I'd be gasping for air soon.
まさか空見くんがハーバーくんになるなんて。
ハーバーくんならイベントのステージに立てる。アキトくんのアイディアですわ。
She stuck her chest out smugly as if it were her own achievement. When she curved her body like that, her two mouths asserted themselves. Whether she liked it or not, it was a magnificent sight.
先輩がわざわざ日曜に私を誘った理由はこれですか。
アキトくんの奮闘、見守らずにはいられませんわ。
She suddenly got fired up at times like these, despite normally being fine meeting once a week due to her business. I wanted it to be for a regular date, not doing my job as Harbor-kun, though.
しかしよく急にハーバーくんのアルバイトをさせてもらいましたね。
ハーバーくんの中の人というのは、ああ見えてかなり過酷な重労働だそうよ。なので、なかなかなり手が見つからないらしいの。ハーバーくんの着ぐるみはせっかく複数あるのに。
Although that's how they managed to use them.
しまわれているなんて。
So that's how they managed to use him in the goddamn Hikari's route. Then though, he played the drums. That's a lot of movements.
ほら、ハーバーくんがこっちに手を振ってますよ。ハーバーくん。
Yoshioka returned my way with a full-faced smile. Orihime followed suit.
ハーバーくん、かわいいですね。
そうね。愛くるしい造形だと思うわ。
ちっちゃな子がいっつも抱きついてますけど、この年になるとそういうのもなかなかしづらくて。でも、今日のハーバーくんなら。
吉岡、あなたまさか。
Orihime you wouldn't dare.
ハーバーくん
She suddenly dashed at me, but I made a godlike evasion at the last moment.
どうして避けるの？
I played it up in the costume, but all I could do was some kind of dance.
アキトくんはハーバーくんの修行中なのよ。邪魔をしてはダメじゃない。それにハーバーくんに抱きついていいのは小さな子供と私だけなんだから。ハーバーくん。
I didn't evade Orihime. I accepted her cute leap with my costume
これ
body.
がハーバーくんの抱き心地ですのね。
先輩ばっかりずるいです。
いくらずるいと言われようが、アキトくんに抱きついていいのは私だけですわ。もふもふもふ。
She indulged herself in Harbor-kun while banning Yoshioka from doing so. I wonder where her dignity as the former Six Stars Club president went. She flirted all over my
こ
costume.
ういうのもなかなか悪くありませんわね。そうそう、先ほどの女の子が写真を撮っていましたわ。吉岡、
ちゃんと聞こえてます。もうそんなにはしゃいで。
She is so jealous. She rarely prepared the camera on her phone.
撮りますよ。
はい、チーズ。
A familiar girl beat her to it.
ひなみさん、どうしてここに？
ごきげんようです、白鳥先輩。
Shirt Tori?
コロナもいるよ。姫ちゃん、吉岡先輩、ごきげんよう。
二人ともごきげんよう。今日はハーバータウンでお買い物かしら？
コロナはそうだよ。でも、ひなみんは、ハーバーくんの写真を撮りに来ました。
She hoisted her single lens digital camera.
随分と立派なカメラなのね。
ハーバーくんの写真のためですから。
She certainly looked in good shape.
でもまさか姫ちゃんがハーバーくんに抱きついてるとは思わなかったな。これは浮気だね。浮気。ハキ兄が聞いたらきっと泣いちゃうよ。コロナ、それは違う。ハーバーくんは人じゃないからセーフ。
そうそう。だから二人とも、空見くんには秘密にしてあげてくださいね。
Yoshioka came up with a smooth cover-up. We were keeping it quiet to the others that I would be attending the Aventus Harbor for Kun for now.
どうしよっかな。
お願いします。
She lowered her head to her underclassmen. Based on what I'd heard from Orihime, Yoshioka was fairly strict towards hierarchy. So it was no small deal for her to lower her head like this.
吉岡先輩がコロナに頭下げてる。何これ、槍でも降っちゃうの？あと、このハーバーくんも、なんかおかしい感じ。
どこがおかしいのかしら？
ハーバーくんフリークの私の目はごまかせない。このハーバーくんは絶対変。
She circled around Arbukun, aka me.
まず、単独行動していること。ハーバーくんは常に楽団とセットなのに。
Dang, she was sharp. Band members weren't together
それ
today.
にさっきから全然太鼓叩いてないし。
I drummed his prominent bass drum in a
リ
panic.
ズムが適当すぎ。それじゃあ子供は騙せても、私のことは騙せない。ひなみんってば超厳しいよ。意地悪な姑みたいになってる。でも、このハーバーくんは明らかに変。ねえ、ひょっとしたらなんだけど、このハーバーくん、アキ兄じゃない？
Like that is just a...
部長？
She circled around me again. I've been suddenly hugged. I tore her off in a panic, but that wasn't the right
やっ
response.
ぱりハーバーくんじゃない。本当に部長なの？
もう正直に話してしまいませんか？その上で協力を仰ぐべきかと。
そうですわね。お察しの通り、このハーバーくんは、アキトくんですわ。
なんと、部長ってば羨ましいことを。でもなんでアキ兄がハーバーくんやってるの？アルバイトだったらコンビニで十分でしょ？
では、私から説明しますわ。
Orihime explained the situation simply in my place.
なるほど。確かにハーバーくんになれば、部長がステージに立ってもおかしくないです。アキ兄が着ぐるみに入るのか。
まだ今日が初日です。ハーバーくんとして至らぬ点があっても、多めに見てあげてください。
いや、そういう考えは良くないです。
I would have flatly refuted her words. She may have added thing to it, but without that, it would have been pretty rude a pretty rude thing to say to an upperclassman. Hold on. Like, I don't know why, but I just randomly remembered something that happened. Because me and a buddy of mine at one point, like, visited, like, home for refugees. When the whole refugee crisis started. Like, they were really nice. Like, they were fun to hang out with, honestly. It was a fun day. But at one point it got really, really uncomfortable. Because for some reason they started dancing. And, like... in some kind of dance that I'm really not good at, but I'm like, overall, I'm just not good at dancing. And that dance, overall, even more so, not into it. But they for some reason, desperately wanted me to dance as well. And I just sat there extremely uncomfortable, like, no, please not. I'm not good at this. I don't really want to dance. Like, I'm fine just watching it, enjoying the music. I'm having a fun talk here, but please don't make me dance. And I don't know why. It was a weird, uncomfortable situation. Anyways. I just put away this fucking gun. I actually just kind of smashed it on the table onto my finger. Ah, fuck. I struck Harper-kun's happy pose. Instructions began immediately. Even Yoshioka, who'd feigned ignorance at first, got serious and taught me a lot. I obeyed her orders and fulfilled my role as Harper-kun. I had it hammered into me until the end of my shift. Orihime met me as I came out from changing. So for the wait, where Korodo and the others? Looking around, only Orihime and Yoshioka were left. And I guess we should head home too. I started heading to the bus stop, but Yoshioka was looking this way, frozen and with a strange face. She pinched her nose right in front of me. Sorry, the inside of that costume was pretty crazy. I nodded to her question. I thought it'd be bad to make them wait, but I guess it wasn't smart to leave it until later. She said her goodbyes while backing away. Words were polite as usual, but retreated quickly as if running away. Guess feeling sweaty isn't very good. He knew I couldn't do anything about it, but it still made me a bit down.
仕方がありませんわ。吉岡はあれで箱入り娘ですから、異性を感じさせるものに免疫がないのでしょう。
I guess she is a student of Meiko. I almost forgot, since we'd gotten pretty close, but she went to a famous high-level private school. She wasn't as prim as Orihime, but still, you could say she was well beyond my grasp.
吉岡はああ言いましたけど、私は秋人くんの匂い嫌いではなくてよ。
She brought her face close and smelled me.
いつもの秋人くんの匂いがしますわ。
You don't have to force yourself.
無理じゃありませんわ。本当に嫌いではないというか、むしろ好きです。
She sniffed my sweat again, like she was reconfirming it. I'm happy to be complimented, but being sniffed out so much is kind of,
ごめんなさい。つい。
She went red and took some
でも不
distance.
思議ですわね。好きな方の匂いだとちっとも嫌じゃなくて、むしろ好ましく感じてしまうなんて。
You always smell good, so I can't say anything back. I brought my face close and smelled her. It was a sweet, gentle fragrance that could come from no man.
アキトくん、ちょっと恥ずかしいですわ。
Let's pay back for earlier. Her face was troubled, but she let me sniff her without brushing me off.
これ以上は、ここでは。
You mean, if we changed locations, she'd let me smell her more? That's kind of fucking weird, not gonna lie.
お泊まりは無理ですけど、 ご休憩の方でしたら、シャワーも浴びられますし、都合がいいかと。
Whoops. Her voice tapered off at the end out of
ダメ
embarrassment.
ですか？
Of course we can. I took her hand and squeezed it. No more words were necessary. Oh, really? February 14th, Valentine's Day. It fell perfectly on the weekend, and Harbour Town was bustling with couples. The event was scheduled to start at 6 p.m. Until then, the cast passed the time however they felt.
夜6時から特別イベントが始まるよ。よろしくね。
Harlequin announced the event while handing out flyers. I'd come to deeply respect the actors inside him these past 10 days. The sharpness of their movements is so different. The difference in experience, huh? I was still nothing but a Harlequin novice. The Harlequin over there was my senior in charge with years of experience.
やはり声があると違いますね。あれこそ本物のハーバーくんです。
Guys aren't allowed to speak. You know guys aren't allowed to speak.
部長はこの短時間でなかなかのハーバーくんになりました。怒っていいと思います。
Hearing you say that is a relief. Thanks to Yamada whipping me into shape, it got pretty good. Even to the person inside Harlequin now, I apparently had an aptitude for it, with how fast I improved.
ハーバーくんだ。おーい、ハーバーくん。
He could charged at Harlequin suddenly upon arriving.
部長のことだと思ってません？
Hey, Connie, stop, stop!
あ、秋田、なんで？
Harlequin dodged brilliantly, as if he were used to such attacks.
ごめん、ハーバーくん。いや、ハーバーさん。
He actually changed it to son!
ハーバーくんでいいよ。それと、危ないから飛びついちゃダメ。ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
She apologized over and over, her twin tail swinging all over the place. Then she marched over while glaring at me.
ほらー、もうなんで秋人じゃないのよ。
Why does she even know? What am I supposed to say to
知ら
that?
ない人にタックルしそうになっちゃったじゃないの。
It's your fault for pouncing all on your own.
ハーバーくんを見分けられない時点で、ほうき星先輩の負け。ぐぬぬ、ひなみちゃんにまでそう言われちゃね。
She understood she wasn't wrong and looked frustrated.
あ、いたいた。秋人くん。さや、こっちこっち。
It seems they'd come together and trotted to one another.
あ、ハーバーくんじゃないんだ。
Could you not give me the disappointed look too?
ごめんごめん。でも、秋人くんのハーバーくん姿、まだ見てなかったから。
We'd already told the Six Stars members that I would be Harlequin. There we go. Now we know. But it caused you issues if it turned into a fuss, so we didn't tell them until the last minute.
まったく水臭いわよね。こんな面白いこと、私たちに内緒にするなんて。
If I didn't, you'd have come to mess with me, wouldn't you?
もちろん。
You made the right choice. I was worried it spread from Korona, but she kept her lips tight.
ところで、白鳥さんは？秋人くん一緒じゃないの？
She's in the waiting room. Yoshioka's attending to her.
部長は彼氏なんですから、控室に入る権利があるのでは？
I won't say I don't, but it's also where they
こ
change.
ういうイベントのコンパニオンって、やっぱり特別な服なんだよね。そうみたい。秋人くんはもう見せてもらった？
Not yet. I'm gonna put on hold until the main event, apparently. I got put on hold until the main event, apparently. That's why I was banned from entering the waiting
どんな
room.
衣装なんでしょうか？去年のアルテミスのような神々しいお姿だとしたら。
That would have sparked my imagination. But even was naturally beautiful, so anything she was incredible. But the destructive force of when she went all out was incomparable.
秋人、顔。しなくなってるわよ。
I stopped my delusions and regained my composure.
もう少しの辛抱だよ、秋人くん。それじゃあ、私たちはそろそろ向こうの準備を始めるから。
Everyone from the Six Stars were gathered in a spot separated from the temporary stage. Those that came today were helping as volunteers. They would work together with the stage to display astronomical bodies seen with various pieces of equipment on a large monitor, and also let people who came see them directly.
山田さん、そろそろ行こう。わかりました。それでは部長、健闘を祈ります。
You guys too. We would act on our own from here on. The stage handled by Orihime and I, the equipment handled by Hikari and the others. We each were probably curious how the others would do, but there was no unease. Would rest easy, leaving it to our companions in the 6 stars. They were the undeniable bonds forged by Orihime and Yoshioka, the second president. Sunset came after a short dusk. My fucking throat feels weird. I don't want to drink anymore because I need 2 beers for tomorrow morning and 2 beers for tomorrow night. This sounds so bad. That sounds so bad, doesn't it? Like, yes, I need a beer for tomorrow morning. I just decided I'd be drinking during this D&D session. That's all. Don't worry about it. I literally go to bed right after the D&D session, so basically it's the same as drinking before going to sleep. About an hour had passed since the sun sank. Among the nautical twilight, the event finally raised its curtain.
皆さん、お待たせしました。ハーバータウンがお送りする恋のスペシャルイベント、バレンタインの星空をあなたとを開催します。
Orihime's lucid voice sounded at the beginning of the event. At the same time, lights lit up the
バレン
stage.
タインデーにふさわしいロマンチックな夜を皆さんにお届けするのはこの私。星の中市出身、星の中市在住、根っからの星の中っ子の私、白鳥織姫がステラーアドバイザーとして星空の世界をご案内します。そしてアシスタントにはハーバータウンの可愛いマスコット、ハーバーくんにお願いしちゃいます。さあ、みんなでハーバーくんを呼ぼう。せーの、ハーバーくん。
You get it. Quiet. just him just showing up. Yes! Made my appearance from backstage at their call. I hit the audience with his familiar pose.
こんにちは、ハーバーくん。今日はお姉さんのお手伝いよろしくね。はーい。
I couldn't speak while inside Harbor-kun. Several prepared reactions were played by the directing group. The timing was ad-libbed without a script. It was an important job that put Orihime and I's connection to the test.
では早速イベントを進行していきますが、ハーバーくんは星のことをどのくらい知ってるかな？星を見るのが大好きと。みんな、ハーバーくんは星を見るのが好きみたいだよ。やっぱり海の男は星が友達なのかな？
Sounded my drum in place of a reply. According to Yoshioka, the way Harbor-kun bangs his drum signified different emotions.
ハーバーくんのようなかっこいい船乗りは星を見ることで方角を確認しました。海と星は切っても切れない関係なんです。ハーバータウンも港町をモチーフにした商業施設です。星の中市も海浜都市として海と密接な関係にあります。そんな星の中市で昨年末、星にまつわる一つのムーブメントが起きました。ハーバーくん、それは何なのか教えてくれるかな？そうそう、プロジェクトスターライトっていう
He
の
didn't say
ね。
anything like that.
昨年の12月、双子座流星群がやってきました。その時、みんなで協力して明かりを消して綺麗な流れ星を見ようっていう運動でした。そのスタートになったのがここ星の中市なんです。 星の中の天文グループむつら星の会が呼びかけて全国へと展開していったんです。え？自画自賛するなって？はい、そうなんです。ハーバー君のツッコミの通り、この私はむつら星の会の関係者なんです。もう引退しちゃって今は OG なんですけどね。
Orihime saying something like "tee" was ridiculous, and she gave a friendly and casual show, so much unlike her usual self. But it was incredibly natural and didn't feel strange at all.
今回のイベントはハーバータウン内のプラネタリウムがとあるメーカーさんと協力して実現しました。みんなは知ってるかな？こういう望遠鏡とかを作ってる会社なんだけど。
I pointed out the samples they had put up with my costumed hand. They were refracting telescopes, but the newest model, not my old style one.
はい、ハーバー君ありがとう。今日は望遠鏡に始まり、星を見るためのいろいろな道具を皆さんにご紹介したいと思います。今現在恋をしてる男性も女性も、これから恋をする人たちもぜひ見ていってください。大好きな人と寄り添い合って星を見ること、それって本当にロマンチックなんですよ。でもちょっとハードル高いって思う方も多いと思います。今日はそんな皆さんのハードルを下げちゃいます。メーカーさんが提供してくれた機器の数々を使ってバレンタインにぴったりの星々を見てみましょう。
The event's progression was decided through talks with the manufacturer's staff, Director Morita, and the Six Stars Club members. The staff went out of their way to nominate and appoint Orihime, so naturally they earnestly took the future of astronomy we aimed for into account. Locals had their own respective ways they sought to love the stars. Their desire to respect those as much as possible invigorated us.
まず最初に見ただけで感動しちゃうような星空をここに集まってくれたみんなにプレゼントしちゃいます。ではでは、ハーバーくん、お願いします。
I operated the small tool that was prepared while responding to her with a wave. The remote control looking thing wasn't real, of course. The staff displayed something on screen along with Harbakun's movements.
さあ、ご覧ください。さっきお話しした双子座流星群です。
I don't see anything. The powder behind the shooting stars on the monitor was massive, even if it was just a video. Those who saw it that night, and those who didn't, including their individual feelings, were enchanted by the sight of a star-falling sky.
あの夜、自分の目で見た方は知っていると思います。本物はもっともっとすごいんですよ。でもあんな夜は数年に一度だけ訪れる瞬間なんです。だからこうしていつまでも残る映像に残します。あの星降る夜をもう一度。少しの間、皆さんもじっくりとお楽しみください。
The lights on stage dimmed. They weren't entirely put out, but enough to see the video
こ
clearly.
ちらは微速度撮影という方法で撮られたものです。タイムラプス動画って言えばみんなもわかるかな？
Compared to seeing it with the naked eye, the punch was different. The point of an astronomy buff would notice in this video was how an equatorial mount was used. In time-lapse photography, capturing the mountains or horizon on something for reference in the background was common, but an astronomy equipment maker probably intended to stand out. The meteors were projected beautifully with an equatorial mount without showing their movement caused by rotation.
さて、綺麗な流星群はこのくらいにして、メーカーの人に怒られる前に次行っちゃいましょう。ハーバーくん、次は何が見たいかな？なになに？望遠鏡を使った星が見たいって？もう、ハーバーくんは営業上手だな。
The time-lapse meteor shower was lovely, but it was cameraman territory. Astronomy equipment maker's real ability wasn't on the whole sky itself, but seeing astronomical bodies.
さて、それじゃあどの星にしようかな。ハーバーくん、リクエストはある？
I gestured with my whole body. Harbakun's showtime. I was in costume, so I posed with dramatic movements.
ごめん、ハーバーくん。 全然わからない。しょぼーん。
A tempered voice played back. In that moment, laughter filled the venue.
じゃあ、会場のみんなも知ってる星にしようかな。ハーバーくん、スイッチ、お願いします。
They operated the remote and the monitor came on.
おっきな輪っか。これは土星だね。
It was the valiant figure of Saturn, the most recognizable planet in the solar system. It was a great photo, and you could even see Cassini's division distinctly.
土星の輪っかなんて簡単に見られるはずないよって思う人も多いと思います。でもそうじゃないんです。案外あっさり見えちゃうんです。え？そんなの信じられないって？もう、ハーバーくんってば疑い深いな。それじゃあ彼女もできないよ。
わわわ
Sounded my drum
ハーバ
cheerfully.
ーくんは船乗りだから港ごとに恋人がいるって？そういうの好きじゃないな。女の子はたった一人の彼女でいたいものなの。こんなバレンタインの夜には特にね。
Isn't this supposed to be a mascot to appeal to children? Shit! Are you sure you should have a mascot meant to appeal to children? Say shit like, I got a girl over and every fucking part, baby. I gotta worry about that one bit. Like, should you really let him say that? Or like, say that he said that or something like that?
ハーバーくん、このタイミングで今のはーいはないよ。しょぼーん。そう落ち込まなくていいから。ハーバーくんも今日はお姉さんと一緒に星を見ようね。はーい。もうそれはいいから。
After playing with Arbakun's playbacks for a bit, we moved on.
さてさて、事前に用意した映像じゃダメってことなら、リアルタイムで見る星をお見せしちゃいましょう。土星はこの時間、残念ながら地球の裏側です。他の惑星では、木星や金
Just
星、
stop playing around with the damn
水
thing.
星なども同じですね。
I did not smash my finger this time.
なので、ただいま見えてる太陽系の惑星ということで、リアルタイムの火星をご覧に入れましょう。
Oh, it's in a char. Wait, what?
はいはーい。会場外のむつら星の会の皆さん。
The monitor's images switched to relay broadcast at Orihime's call.
はー。
With perfect timing, he got his big mouth chewing on a pork bun was displayed on screen.
光、映ってる。
Ikari flew off screen in a fluster. All that was left was a bit of a situation with Saya by her lonesome.
こちら会場外、特設会場です。
むつら星の会、会長の吉岡です。こちらに設置した望遠鏡を使って火星をお見せします。
The one who came to support her was none other than Yoshioka. She looked extremely cool the way she gallantly moved her coat to reveal her Meiko Academy uniform.
吉岡、頑張って。
頑張りー。
あなたの大好きなハーバーくんも応援してますわ。あの子は可愛い後輩なんです。みんなも声援をお願い。
声援ありがとうございます。ではこちらの望遠鏡で火星を見てみましょう。
With her face stiff at the unexpected jeer of Yoshioka, she looked at Mars through the telescope.
導入といって望遠鏡の視界に天体を収める作業はあらかじめ済ませてあります。あとは覗くだけです。どうぞ。
What was projected was unmistakably Mars. The astronomical seeing was surprisingly favorable for winter. Mars was a fine-looking man. It wasn't what Yoshioka was actually seeing. It was captured with a camera, but the image shifted naturally as if that weren't the case.
おお、これが今の火星ですか。見ましたか、ハーバーくん。ちゃんと火星が映ってますよ。わわわ。ハーバーくんも興奮してますね。自称星好きは伊達じゃありません。こんな風に望遠鏡を使えば素敵な星を見ることができるんです。さっき使っていたあの望遠鏡は今年リリースされたばかりの反射望遠鏡となります。すごーい。 ハーバーくん、わざとらしい相づちありがとう。でも本当にすごいんだよ、これ。私も個人的に欲しいくらいで。本当、初心者でも簡単に星を見ることができる、とっても便利な望遠鏡なんです。
I brought it over with awkward tottering steps. It's dangerous in a costume, so I just pushed the cart it was placed on in
ハーバー
advance.
くん、お使いありがとう。いい子いい子。
Haberkun gets cheery as Orihime patted him. The person inside him, aka me, did as well.
では、使い方を説明するね。このコントローラーを使って、見たい星を選ぶ。すると、ウィーンと自動的に動いて、ほら簡単見たい星が見えちゃいます。
The rapid progression of automatic setup systems in recent years was remarkable. Just by aligning it with the polar axis allowed it to move with great accuracy. Didn't allow manual operation for those who wanted exactness, but it was ideal for appreciating the stars lightheartedly. It wasn't the type where you enter coordinates that needed to be looked up, but you chose directly from lists or images, so it would probably help remove barriers for
こ
novices.
こではライトが眩しいので、会場外のむつら星の会のみんなにやってもらいましょう。むつら星の会の皆さん、豚まんは食べ終わりましたか？
先ほどはお見苦しいところをお見せしました。白鳥さんのリクエストに応えて、こちらの望遠鏡で自動導入をテストします。
ねえねえ、導入するのはいいけど、どの星にするの？
そうだね。じゃあ、ステラアドバイザーに聞いてみよう。星のお姉さん、どの星が見たいですか？
おっと、こちらに返されちゃいました。さてさて、一体どうしたものか。ふむふむ。ここは月の女神に聞いてみろって？では、1年ぶりに月の女神アルテミスに降臨していただきましょう。
The stage atmosphere quietly shifted. Quite literally, Orihime had brought Artemis's descent.
迷えるプレアデスの乙女たちよ。私の声が聞こえますか？聞こえまーす！
オッケー。
あなた方が望む星は何ですか？答えを聞いた上で、女神アルテミスが決めましょう。まずはタイゲタ。あなたの意をここに。
タイゲタの草壁コロナです。吉岡部長の代わりにコロナが提案します。さっき火星を見たなら惑星つながりで天王星がいいです。
タイゲタは天王星を所望のようね。
It wouldn't look as big as Mars, but we would be able to determine its form, so it was a good choice.
次はエレクトラとアステローペよ。あなたたちの意を示しなさい。
エレクトラのほうき星光です。
アステローペの天の川さやです。
光とさやの幼馴染コンビがお答えします。
私たちは馬頭星雲を推します。
白鳥座のアルビレオって言いたいとこだけど、あいにく今は沈んじゃってるのよね。
では、冬のアルビレオでお願いします。私はマイヤの山田ひなみです。よろしく。まだマイヤが呼ばれてないのに。
冬のアルビレオってのは、大犬座の二重星です。さやたんの瞳みたいな綺麗な星なんだよ。
かなり混沌としてきたようですね。
I patted her head along with Harberkun. Looks like even the moon goddess has her work cut out for her.
優しいのね、ハーバー君。
I used my whole body in a dance to cheer her on. She danced along with me as Artemis.
さて、次はケラエノとアルキオネですが。
I hurriedly made an X with my arms. Even if we continued, we'd just lose the
そう
audience.
ね。このようなやりとりを続けても、まずは皆で夜空を見上げましょう。そして見たい星をおのおのが見つけるのです。
Orihime descended the stage with slow, certain steps. Next to her, the masked Haruka stuck close, not leaving her side. We passed through the audience together and headed towards our friends who awaited outside the venue. Things moved to stage 2 just as planned. We'd used the equipment prepared by the manufacturer to convey the brilliance of the stars to the audience.
それでは皆さん、よろしくお願いします。
The audience, guided by the staff, dispersed among the various telescopes. They got to talk with the staff, including Orihime the Stellar Advisor, and we would show them what they wanted to
さあ
see.
皆さん、見てみたい星があったら言ってください。
The visitors spoke out in a buzz after Orihime's invocation, but maybe they didn't know details. None of them brought up specific names. Wasn't there anything I could do? Valentine's decoration caught my eye and I took it down. I got on one knee and offered it to her like a knight to a princess.
ハーバー君
He was shocked but took it. The ring of imitation
これっ
roses.
てもしかしてバラ星雲と言いたいの？
I affirmed with several large
ハーバー
nods.
君のリクエストなら答えてあげないといけないわね。皆さんはどうですか？
They responded with loud applause. Harukun's courtship scene was a big hit with the couples who came too.
皆さんありがとう。それではハーバー君のリクエスト、バラ星雲を見ることにしましょう。こちらがバラ星雲です。一角十座にある三光星雲となります。詳しい説明は不要ですね。まずはその目で見てみてください。
Rosette Nebula wasn't visible normally. An interference filter would bear its form to
写
you.
真に撮ると赤く写ってバラのように見えるからバラ星雲と呼ばれています。
The spectators each gave small shouts of joy upon looking through the telescopes. I watched along with Orihime right next to her.
ありがとう、エキト君。
Most of the people were enjoying watching the starry sky, and Arbor Town turned out as many lights as possible for the event. The dream we hoped to make true with Project Starlight partially came to fruition right here and
こ
now.
の夜を仲間たちと見る星空をずっと夢見てきました。
I should stop just like bobbing my foot or whatever you call that, tapping my foot. That's the one. Bobbing the head, tapping the foot. It was the Six Stars Club's ambition. It may have been temporary, but the sight of what he had craved, the dream play out as one show to her, was connected right to this
ごめんな
moment.
さい。私、今日はステラアドバイスが嬉しすぎて
Fuck.
涙が出てしまいますわ。
A single indistinct tear fell. It twinkled like a star and I was taken by its beauty. The event proceeded as planned and the curtain fell on a success. They announced the end of the equipment, but the equipment and staff stayed to continue showing everyone the stars they wanted. Didn't know if it was okay to do that at a product event from an astronomy equipment manufacturer. But everyone here showed them off with a smile. Wonder if they grew to like the stars more, even a little. Even if it were just one person who bought a telescope to this event, and they only watch the stars once a year, it would be a small yet huge step forward. Orihime lingered alone, savoring the reverberations away from the hustle and bustle. She occasionally laughed and smiled, possibly thinking back. She took off the Harlequin costume and returned to Akito Sorami, but Orihime remained as the Stellar Advisor. Orihime?
アキト君、今日は本当にお疲れ様。
Her breath was white. The temperature had dropped along with the deepening
ア
night.
キト君は寒くありませんか？
You're the one who looks cold. You should hurry and get changed.
そうはいきませんわ。まだイベントは終わっていませんもの。
They announced its official end, but I could understand her feeling that it wasn't over yet.
吉岡もずっとコートを脱いだまま制服でしたわ。
Same as during filming of the promotional video. She simply complied with Orihime, who said they had to be in uniform because they were the Six Stars
あ
Club.
の時とは違うと思います。私がこの衣装だからあの子も合わせてくれたのでしょうね。何もそこまでしなくてもいいのに。
She didn't say anything out of consideration for Yoshioka's feelings. She didn't even go to wrap her in a coat.
私はあの子の思いに応えたい。その義務があると思っています。
So you won't get changed or even put a coat
馬
on.
鹿げていると思うかしら。
Nah, I think it's very like you. That was the Orihime I fell in love with. I didn't do anything like take my coat off and cover it with it. Still, you'll catch cold like this. I gently held her from behind, enveloping her, frozen hands and all. Look at how cold you were.
仕方ありませんわ。だって冬ですもの。
I want to respect your wishes as much as I can, so let me help like this, just a little. I want to warm her, even if only by a small amount. I transferred my heat to her through my palms, my whole body.
今のずるいですわ。
Is it against the rules?
そうじゃありません。タイミング良すぎて、もう私また泣いてしまいそうだもの。
But you didn't this time. Touching like this must have let her be a little stronger than before. Did it do right?
もちろんよ。アキトくんがいてくれて本当に心強かった。私はどう？うまくできていたかしら。
Of course. We were together.
そうね。私とアキトくんが一緒ならきっと最強ですわ。
Even a discomforting journey a walked alone was feasible together. Even should we take this relationship of support for granted, we could believe in taking further leaps.
ねえ、アキトくん、このまま。
Wait. Gently stopped her words. Our year anniversary is still a few days away, but I'm going to say it now. I want to walk with you from now on and forever. I kind of jumped the gun, but I suppose it was like the answer to our homework.
アキトくん、
It would be a problem if you didn't notice, so I'll just say it. I'm proposing to you.
プロポーズ。
Her cheeks dyed red in shock. So I really didn't notice.
だってもうそういうことははっきり言ってほしいですわ。
I like how it did feel like constantly she was basically just facing away from you, like in front of me, at least on this. But there, it just sounded like she just turned around in shock. Like, what the fuck you talking about, boy? You still it's gold, bitch! And I'll say it again. I love you, Orihime. Please marry me. There was no way she'd miss that. We were still students, and I didn't have the means to support her. But I wanted to make this clear.
私もですわ。私もアキトくんを愛しています。
Apparently somebody whose name ends with CH is going to die.
白鳥織姫という女の子、空のアキトくんのお嫁さんにしてもらえますか？
Of course, I'll make you happy no matter what. I swear it on this sky full of stars. Roll credits. And ending credits. Wow. So, just gonna go ahead and note it down. The routes for the characters who didn't have... it's not just after routes for. A lot longer. So I think like roughly 5 hours for Miyaru and Yoshioka. Just barely 3. Or a bit more than 3 for her. The celebration approached its end before we knew it. Even those that stuck it out to the last minute disbanded with the closing of Harbor Town. Oh, come on, that can't be the after credit scene.
アキトくん。
Orihime, who changed clothes, waited in the bus. Sat directly next to her. I'm sorry for asking this when it's so
構い
late.
ませんわ。
Oh, they're going to
嬉
meet
し
the
く感
parents.
じてますもの。
I'd asked her to let me meet her parents. I had to do things right now that I'd proposed. Making Orihime happy meant making her parents happy at the same
それ
time.
よりも一つだけ問題がありますわ。お母様もお父様もまだ返信がありませんね。
Like they're just panicking. She's bringing over! We need to leave! Why though? You know why! We won't be able to sleep! Oh, that's what you mean. Yes, exactly! I hope they don't do it in the kitchen. Why is that your first worry? Like, why won't they just go to a room? I mean, they'll have the whole house to themselves if we leave now. They're free to do it wherever. Fuck them! They might do it in our bed! Why would they do that? That's kind of fucking creepy! She sent word that she was taking me home right after we got on the bus. They hadn't even replied at all yet, so saying nothing of allowing it.
どうしましょう。連絡がつかないのはよくあることですし、心配はないと思いますが。
Should I still go up or do it on another day?
アキトくんさえよろしければ、両親が戻るまで私の部屋で休みませんか？
Is that
アキ
okay?
トくんをご招待したいんです。
Her smile and response was blinding. We walked for several minutes after getting off the bus. We stood in front of a stalwart gated
こ
mansion.
こが我が家ですわ。
I expected this, but it's awfully sturdy.
頑丈さだけが取り柄のもんですわ。
I don't really mean it in the physically strong sense. I mean, I didn't feel like making a petty quip with Orihime in front of me. Happy as could be and inviting me into her house.
やはり不在のようですわね。
Oh no, they set up party. We proceeded inside with Orihime's guidance. Oh, looking fancy.
こちらですわ。
This is just her room. Huh. Her room was a modest Western-style room, like I'd imagined. Wow, so this is spacious enough to fit 2 of my rooms in here. That space was used lavishly, creating an adult-like room fitting for her.
あんまりジロジロ見ないでください。恥ずかしいですわ。
She was naturally embarrassed at having her private space looked at. I guess all the embarrassing bits we'd shown each other were a different matter. You stare around my room all the time, don't you?
それはそうですけど。
She wasn't someone to go looking around in someone's room, but there were times that things a man ought to have hidden were seen. There were cases where having what you got off to found out, even by a lover, was unbearable. So many books, too. Various colored book spines were methodically lined up. There were many astronomy magazines, novels, and astrology books. But it didn't seem she read much manga.
気になる本があったらお貸ししますわよ。
You will?
適当に見ていてください。私は温かい飲み物でも用意してきますから。では、少しだけ待っていてくださいね。
She took off her coat and left. She was my girlfriend, but being left in her room alone made me a bit uncomfortable. Not good, I'm seriously nervous. I actually decided to propose a while ago. We talked about coming up with requests to give the other person in order to progress further in our 1-year anniversary during our date before, and so I started thinking about officially proposing. Maybe suddenly saying, please give me your daughter would be a bit hasty. I may have hypothesized the proposal, but I never thought I'd put it to her parents right here. I was bequeathed time to mentally prepare myself since they were out, but if that weren't the case, I'd have been obviously out of it. It smells like Orihime's room. Familiar scent was condensed here. See, so this is where it was made. Hey, knock it off! I'll look at a book before these evil thoughts swell anymore. I took an astronomy magazine, was calmed at discerning a back number of my usual astronomy guide, then lost myself in reading it at some point.
アキトくん、ドアお願いできますか？
Yes! I scurried to the door and let her in. but I lost my voice at the unexpected sight. The parents are there. Or not. They're gonna be fucking, aren't they? They're gonna be fucking. It was the stellar advisor clothes she wore for the event. I like the belt, oddly enough. I don't know why. It's great, really. All I could get at was that pathetic compliment. But her full power cuteness made me think it would be more rude to expound at length. There it is. She was a feast for the eyes. The fact that she wore it for me made it that much more incredible. Continue? Or something else?
今日が何の日か覚えていますか？そう、バレンタインデーなんです。チョコレートも用意してありますのよ。
Let's hope it wasn't too much. I'm not fucking up. It was her who made too much Valentine's chocolate, wasn't it?
はい、アキトくん、ハッピーバレンタイン。
She extended the package that she was hiding behind
手
her.
作りではありませんけれど、その分愛情をたっぷり詰めましたわ。アキトくん大好き。アキトくん大好き。
She poured a little extra in. Thank you, Orihime. I'll be sure to savor your affection. I accepted it and immediately opened it. It was a common assortment of small chocolates, but a famous brand logo that even I knew was drawn on the box. I'll dig right in then.
あ、待ってください。せっかくですから、私が食べさせてあげますわ。
She chose a chocolate from the box. Hum! The rich sweetness expanded throughout my
お
mouth.
味はいかがです？
It's delicious, completely different from convenience store chocolate.
早乙女さんに置いてあるチョコレートもなかなか美味しいと思いますけど。
And do you want a taste? I proposed it myself this time. It was a little embarrassing, but we were used to it by now. Here, you too. Say ah. It relieves your tired body, right?
確かにこの糖分がたまりませんわ。
We had no time for meals during the event. The chocolate reminded us of how hungry we
ア
were.
キト君に差し上げたものですけれど、もう少しいただいてもいいかしら。
Please go ahead.
アキト君も遠慮せず食べてくださいね。
We fed each other chocolate like this, popping them into each other's mouths, savoring the day's special sweets.
全部食べてしまいましたわ。
Gone in an instant. Would have been leftovers on my own, but they were eaten in a flash
ご
together.
めんなさい。アキト君にあげたバレンタインチョコなのに。
I'm happy that you got to enjoy it.
ですが、アキト君の指、チョコで汚れていますわ。
She took my hand and gently placed my fingertip in her mouth. She licked and sucked it. Her conscientious behavior didn't feel even a little vulgar.
少しわざとらしかったですか？
Nah.
アキト君。
She meticulously licked my finger. The chocolate was already gone, but she didn't stop. Orihime, if you do that, I'll...
我慢なんて不要ですわ。アキト君には。
like when parents come home. What's with the moaning? Like they finally get the message. Oh, that's with the moaning. Should we move again? Like, leave? We should probably leave again. Another thick thing, really? Another thick thing, really? Sensuality mixed with her refined conduct. Her exceedingly sexual action stirred me up. I'm not responsible for whatever happens.
はい、望むところですわ。
Upon finally releasing my fingers, he took my hand and lured me to the bed. And fade out. He's sucking his dick. See you after the sex scene. This woman is sucking this man's dry. Jesus. Also, apparently the outfit, that was only borrowed. Like, at one point I saw something about her commenting about, because I always like spam scroll, and I occasionally accidentally scroll back while trying to go back up to scroll down again, and I saw something about she borrowed it because she thought it would get him excited, and hey, it did. Turns out she borrowed the outfit, and then they had sex with her in it. So I hope they're gonna wash that before giving it back. You know, now I've done it. I understood the situation I was in upon opening my eyes. I made love with Orihime until nearly daybreak, just like always, and sank into bed after. Looking to my side, Orihime was sleeping pleasantly and naked. What am I doing? I came here to get permission to marry her. I connected on all of that, went this far. She opened her eyes right after me. Hold on. Oh, that was so close. I was so close. That was so close. I think if it showed a bit further down, you would just barely see the nipple. But you just barely don't see it. It was already past 10 when she checked her phone. When she died, she was still running normally, unlike Orihime, who was already on break. Miss, if you already miss the morning classes, why the fuck hurry up in order to catch the afternoon classes? Let's be honest. No, I'll take the day off. This isn't the time for that. Of course it is. You had sex until morning while your parents were here. I completely forgot, but there was no way they didn't come home. They definitely read the room and left us alone. To summarize the result, there were no issues with the proposal. It seemed like the topic had already come up, and they welcomed me with open arms. In fact, I felt almost humbled. Stop playing around with this dead thing! Orihime's mother, also known as Makoto Tsukiura, was quite beautiful in person, as you'd expect from a former actress. However, my danger senses were flashing red. Are you just standing there in front of them, like they're happily greeting him, and he's just, something's off. What?
家族みんなで1周年をお祝いしましょう。うん、決まり。じゃあ、決定ってことでよろしく。
Wait, what do you mean?
ついてくればわかりますわ。
Orihime and I were totally strung along by this free-willed woman. I don't recall asking for an airplane!
ごめんなさい、アキトくん。うちのお母様ってば、あれで。
Why does your father not say anything? As for him, he was simply grinning happily from the bottom of his heart because they didn't want to hire an additional voice actor for him. Doesn't he still have school though? Let's hope they come back by tomorrow. No, I mean, suddenly going abroad is just a bit, you know. Being able to go overseas without a visa aside, I never thought I'd be shoved on a plane. I obviously had some complaints, but I swallowed them. When I saw her so happy, I didn't really care anymore. She and Tori family plus me arrived at a remote island in the southern seas after several transfers. I never dreamed my first overseas trip would be to an island like this. What is with this guy? So astounding that I no longer felt like making objections. Why is he just in a full-on jacket, but she's just there in a only wearing like an open purple hoodie as well as swimsuit? What? No kidding. I've only ever seen this in photographs. In the southern hemisphere, separated from Japan, where it was the middle of winter, it was the peak of summer. I looked up at the southern night sky with Orihime, who wore nothing but a swimsuit covered with a hoodie.
見て、あれが南十字星よね。
Southern Cross still sounds like a fucking... like some kind of magic. I think I probably think of it that way because of, I think, Cross Crusade from Trails of Cold Steel. No, that might be the false cross. Was easily mistaken and spread across Villa and
そ
Karina.
れでも構いませんわ。偽十字ということは、これが龍骨座ですから。あれがカノープス。
Remarkably bright first magnitude star in the southern sky. The king of the northern sky was Sirius. The king of the southern was Canopus.
あんなにはっきり見えるなんて感動的ですわ。
It was fairly difficult to see Canopus in Japan. It rose just above the horizon, completely different from what we were seeing here and now. You can see Sirius too, way beyond the Milky Way. Pale strip of cloth was the Milky Way. No wonder it was like to spilt milk with how many minute stars you could see with the naked eye. Wonder how things would turn out after being put on a plane. I wondered how things would turn out after being put on a plane so suddenly. I couldn't be mad after seeing the sky though. If anything, I'm grateful. I lost my word at the sky before me.
と今頃お母様はしてやったりと思っていることでしょうね。
That's fine. Why are there so many stars? Felt nothing but invigorated at the overwhelming number of stars that expanded before my eyes.
私もアキト君とここに来られてよかったですわ。
Nestled together, skin touching skin. Lightly pulled a shoulder
本
in.
当に最高の記念日になりました。
Since we crossed the date line, it wasn't our anniversary yet, but it was still our commemorative trip.
そうそう。以前お話しした宿題の件ですけれど、アキト君のはあのプロポーズだったのよね。
I jumped the gun in it, but I didn't regret a thing. If I hadn't said it at the time, I wouldn't be here with Orihime now. What do you think? Have you thought of anything?
一
Of
つだ
something?
け。実はどうしても変えたいことがありますの。それはアキト君のその言葉遣いですわ。
She pouted
誰よ
cutely.
りも深くつながっている関係になりましたのに、アキト君はずっと敬語ばかり。私にもヒカリさんたちみたいに砕けた口調で話してほしいですわ。
That had bothered me for a while too, but I couldn't really find the right opportunity, which brought us to now. Got it, then? I'll cut respect from here on as best as I can. That okay, Orihime?
感動的ですわ。アキト君が私にタメ口で話してくれるなんて。
Hearing something like "show me out of your mouth" feels kinda new.
アキト君もその口調新鮮すぎますわ。
So, what do you think? Like all I can think is just like all I can think is just fucking Senator Armstrong. Because after he rattled off his political views and ideologies while beating the shit out of Raiden, once he's done with that, he literally just lights a cigarette. So, what do you think? How the hell did you get elected? Well, you see, I don't write my own speeches. Was she fine with this, or did you want me to go back?
アキト君と交際を始めて1年が経ちます。その間、本当にいろいろなことがありました。
I feel like an even bigger reason as to why I love after stories where he builds a family in this it's the fact that he doesn't have one. Like, at least none he's close to. Like, he still has his aunt and uncle and their family, but they feel very estranged to him. So I feel like it just seems to have more weight when he actually gets to build a new family in one of the after stories. It's just like he's finally regained what he's lost, basically. I feel like that's why in this, it's even better than usual. It's even fucking better than usual. Anyways.
アキト君にプロポーズしてもらえて、私たちはまた新たな未来へと歩みを進めます。そんな新たな関係にぴったりの新たな変化があっても良いと思いませんか?
Right. We'll make our start together right here. We looked at the stars again, hand in hand. The Southern Cross, Carina, Pyxis, Puppis. The constellations of the southern sky lined the Milky Way. Beyond them were the northern constellations Orihime and I were close with. High above, near the zenith, cities shone brightly. On go, Orihime. What?
いつでも OK ですわ。
Oh, on go, Orihime. Ready, set,
よーい、ドン!
and go! I didn't get that one. Anyways. So... I just barely didn't have to sense this part. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I sure as fucking hell did. And since there will be at the very least one part of good old Furura between this and the next part of Sky Full of Stars, which one do you want to see next? Hinami or Corona? So just go ahead and put that down in the description. In the comments, I mean. Because I'm not going to make a poll for this. Like I said, I will try to save these two for last again. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you guys next time!